Chapter 652. Qin Haodong asked, "Where are all of you? Today is a special day. Of course, everyone is at my house." After Li Jiumei finished speaking, they turned a corner and saw a tall main building in front of them. There was a sea of people in front of the main building. It was very lively. Sure enough, all the people of the Hmong village had gathered here. "Folks, we brought my sister back," Li Jiugao shouted excitedly. His loud voice caused the entire village to tremble. Hearing his shout, everyone looked over. They saw Li Jiumei walking in front of them and Qin Haodong next to her. "The Holy Virgin is back. The Holy Virgin is back. She seems to be more beautiful than before. Who is the man next to the Holy Virgin? Is he the man chosen by the Holy Virgin? Didn't the chief say that he wanted Bear to be the man of the Holy Virgin? Why is there a bean sprout here all of a sudden?" Qin Haodong strode over and felt that countless eyes were focused on him. But he was also mentally prepared in advance. As the man of Li Jiumei, he would definitely become the focus of the whole Hmong village today. In the middle of the crowd was a sturdy old man. He was dressed in plain clothes and held a black walking stick in his hand. He looked to be in his 70s or 80s, but his eyes were very bright, as if he could see through a person's heart. He was the leader of the Hmong village and Li Jiumei's grandfather, Li Wanquan. There was also a middle-aged couple in their 50s standing next to Li Wanquan. The man was tall and he was Li Jiumei's father. He looked almost the same as the three brothers, but he was a little older. He was Li Jiumei's father, Li Longhai. The middle-aged woman next to him was Li Jiumei's mother, Song Ying. Although she was dressed simply, she looked very charming and enchanting. Her eyebrows were very similar to Li Jiumei's. It seemed that Li Jiumei was right. Her father was not a cuckold and her mother was indeed a great beauty. After seeing her family, Li Jiumei whispered in Qin Haodong's ear. Qin Haodong said, "Is your grandmother's surname Long? Is that why your father named her Li Longhai?" "Of course not." Li Jiumei said, "I heard that there was a man named Longhai who pursued grandma with grandpa. When he gave birth to father, grandpa named him Li Longhai. What a black-bellied old man. It seemed that he had to be more careful in the future and not be fooled by his simple and honest appearance." As they spoke, they had already arrived in front of the old man. Li Jiumei rushed up to hold Li Wanquan's hand and shouted, "Grandpa, I'm back. It's good that you're back." Li Wanquan kept his eyes on Qin Haodong and asked, "Who is this young man?" "This is my man, Qin Haodong." Li Jiumei did not hesitate and directly told him Qin Haodong's identity. As soon as she finished speaking, a strong young man rushed over. He stared at Qin Haodong fiercely and said, "Chief, didn't you say that you would marry Jiumei to me? Why did you suddenly bring another man back?" He was the bear that Li Jiumei had mentioned before. He was also a famous warrior in the entire Hmong village in Xiangxi. When he was 15 years old, he killed a black bear with his bare hands. Since then, people in the village had called him Bear. Before Li Wanquan could speak, Li Jiumei said, "On the day I became the Holy Virgin, Grandpa promised me that it's my own business to choose a man. No one can decide for me. I can choose whoever I want." Li Jiumei was the Holy Virgin of the Hmong village and she had a high status, so Bear did not dare to say anything. He turned his head to look at Qin Haodong and vented his anger on this young man who looked like a bean sprout. "Boy, I want to challenge you." Song Ying pulled Li Jiumei to her side and whispered in her ear, "Daughter, the man you found is good-looking, but he's a little too weak. Do you want me to help you? Otherwise, if he's really broken, you won't be able to use him in the future." Li Jiumei said, "Mom, there's no need. If Bear wants to challenge me, let him do it. He won't learn his lesson if he doesn't suffer a little." At this time, the three brothers surrounded Bear in the middle. They grew up with Bear. Although this guy was very brave, his strength was not much worse than theirs. It was no different from looking for trouble to challenge Qin Haodong with his strength. After all, there was a gap between them and Qin Haodong. Bear, forget it. My brother-in-law is very powerful. You'll be at a disadvantage if you fight with him. Yes, Bear, although my brother-in-law is a little worse than us, you can't beat him, Bear, we grew up together. Listen to me and don't try to be brave. The three brothers knew how powerful Qin Haodong was, so they tried their best to dissuade Bear. In Bear's opinion, these three guys were protecting their new brother-in-law. You three, don't forget that we grew up together. How dare you help a stranger instead of me? I don't know you from now on. Bear despised the three brothers angrily. Then he took off his shirt, revealing his muscles that were as hard as stone. He pointed at Qin Haodong and shouted, "Boy, do you dare to fight with me?" The three brothers shook their heads, turned around, ran into the room, and took out the medicine box at home. They were preparing this for Big Bear, but in the eyes of others, these three guys were preparing to treat their brother-in-law's injury. Li Wanquan did not speak. He just sat there happily and watched. Bear's behavior did not violate the rules of the Hmong village. Young people should have this kind of courage. It was okay as long as they did not kill anyone. At the same time, he also turned his eyes to Qin Haodong. He did not know what kind of man his proud granddaughter had found. Was he a good-looking vase or was he really capable? Qin Haodong glanced at Bear and said, "We're all from the same village. Fighting and killing will hurt the harmony. I think we'd better forget it." Bear widened his eyes and shouted, "Don't you dare to fight. If you don't dare to, get out of the Hmong village. We don't welcome cowards here." Seeing that their goddess was taken away by a boy toy, the other young people were also quite indignant. They all shouted, "Yes, the Hmong village doesn't welcome cowards. If you don't dare to fight, get out of here." Seeing that he could not refuse, Qin Haodong turned to Li Jiumei and said, "Then I'll start." Li Jiumei nodded and said, "My brother has prepared the medicine box. Don't hit him too hard." Got it. Qin Haodong could see that the people of the Hmong village respected warriors. If he kept being modest, he would only be regarded as a coward. He stepped in front of Bear and said, "You can start now. You're a guest. I'll let you make 3 moves first." Bear raised his hand and pounded his solid chest. He roared wildly, "Come on, hit me." The 3 brothers all covered their eyes and did not dare to look directly at him. Li Jushui pulled over another iron basin. Li Jiugao asked, "Third brother, what are you doing?" Li Jushui said, "This guy will definitely vomit blood later. Catch him with a basin, otherwise it will be too wasteful." Seeing that the bear insisted on fighting with him, Qin Haodong shook his head and poked him in the chest with a finger. In the eyes of others, his finger was just like a child's joke. It was light and did not have much strength at all. Just when the onlookers were about to laugh at him, they suddenly saw Bear's body fly more than 10 meters away as if he had been shot by a cannonball. He hit a big tree behind him with a bang and then fell to the ground. His face was covered with dirt and his nose was swollen. Fortunately, Qin Haodong just wanted to teach him a lesson, so he did not use too much strength. Bear only suffered some superficial injuries, which were nothing for a strong man like him. He got up from the ground and let out a beast-like roar. He swung his fist, which was as big as a casserole, and rushed toward Qin Haodong. Qin Haodong did not dodge at all and let Bear hit him in the chest. The crowd immediately let out a cry of surprise. They all knew Big Bear's strength. This guy had once killed a mad bull with one punch. The young man in front of them was so small that he might be directly broken by this punch. Maybe he would really die. But just when people were worried, they saw that Qin Haodong's body did not move at all, while Bear flew out as if he had been hit hard and hit the big tree behind him again. The 3 brothers could not help shaking their heads. They once again confirmed that there was indeed a gap between them and Qin Haodong. Qin Haodong stepped in front of him and asked with a smile, "What do you think? Do you still want to fight?" Bear was completely dumbfounded. He had never seen such a strong opponent in his life. He could not even withstand one finger of Qin Haodong. I'm convinced. He was a straightforward person. He had thought that Qin Haodong was not worthy of the Holy Virgin of their Hmong village, so he stood up to challenge him. Now he had seen Qin Haodong's ability and was completely convinced. The onlookers finally saw how powerful the man the Holy Virgin found was. For a moment, there was a lot of cheering and shouting. Li Wanquan stood up and looked at Qin Haodong with satisfaction. He said, "Is there anyone else who wants to challenge?" Seeing that Bear was no match for him, the young people in the village naturally did not dare to stand up to challenge him. Li Wanquan said, "Since everyone has no objection, let's start drinking." Tables of banquets had been prepared in the Hmong village, waiting for Li Jiumei and the others to come back. At the order of the chief, all the people of the Hmong village sat at the table. Li Jiumei took Qin Haodong and her family to sit at the same table. The dishes on the table were very sumptuous, all of which were delicious in the mountains. Qin Haodong was indeed a little hungry after a day's journey. But before he picked up his chopsticks, Bear came over with a wine jar. "Warrior, have a taste of the special wine of our Hmong village. Let's get drunk today." The guy's meaning was obvious. Since he could not beat him, he would make him drunk. Chapter 653. Li Jiumei naturally knew what he was thinking. She did not know how much Qin Haodong could drink, so she said worriedly, "Haodong, the wine in our village has a strong aftereffect. Don't drink so much if you can't handle it." The three brothers seemed to have finally found the shortcomings of their brother-in-law. Li Jiugao hurriedly cried, "No, no, today is a big day. All men should drink. Not only should we drink, but we should also drink to our heart's content." "That's right. Let's drink to our heart's content today," Qin Haodong said as he pulled a jar of wine next to him. He directly removed the seal, picked it up and poured it into his mouth like a whale sucking water. In the blink of an eye, he finished the 5 liters of wine in front of many astonished eyes. With a 100% would attribute physique, this wine was no different from water to him. "Good. No wonder you're the man chosen by the Holy Virgin. He's a good drinker. He's a good man." The people of the Hmong village were simple and honest. They respected capable people and those who could drink well. Qin Haodong's performance had completely won the approval of everyone present. After drinking up the wine, he directly turned the jar over and said to Bear, "Brother, I'll drink first." "Now it's your turn." Bear came over with the jar of wine. Originally, he wanted to pour wine for everyone, but he did not expect that Qin Haodong would drink it himself. He had never seen or heard of such a drinking capacity. He was a forthright person. Since Qin Haodong had drunk up a jar of wine, he naturally did not show weakness. He directly picked up the jar and drank. However, the pure grain wine brewed by the Hmong stockade village tasted good, but the aftereffect was too great. Before he could finish the jar of wine, he fell to the ground with a plop, completely drunk and unconscious. Li Jiugao waved his hand and someone immediately came to carry Bear back. He looked at Qin Haodong and was more and more satisfied with his grandson-in-law. After drinking Big Bear down, Qin Haodong opened another jar of wine, picked it up and said to the 3 brothers, "Brothers just said that we must drink to our heart's content and have a good time. I'll drink this jar of wine first to show my respect." After saying that, he drank the entire jar of wine. The eyes of the 3 brothers almost popped out of their sockets. If they hadn't seen the wine that Qin Haodong had just opened, they would have thought that the jar was filled with water instead of wine. Although they were good drinkers, each of them could only drink 1 or 2 liters. If they really drank the wine in their hands, the consequences would not be much better than Big Bear. Li Jiugao quickly said, "Brother-in-law, you have a good alcohol tolerance, but we are family, there is no need to drink like this." Li Jiufu quickly put down the wine jar in his hand and said with a smile, "Yes, brother-in-law, hurry up and eat, eat." Li Jishui said, Grandpa taught us to drink less wine and eat more food since we were young. Although we are all men, drinking a little is enough." Seeing that her son was scared, Song Ying said to Qin Haodong, "Young man, you've been on the road for a day. Eat something." The more she looked at her son-in-law, the more she liked him. At the same time, she was full of curiosity. After drinking 2 jars of wine, his face did not turn red and his heart did not beat fast. It was not much different from not drinking at all. How good was his drinking capacity? After seeing Qin Haodong's unrestrained drinking capacity, the other young people in the Hmong village no longer dared to provoke him. The meal was quite peaceful. After the meal, Li Wanquan called Qin Haodong to his room. "Young man, sit down." Li Wanquan asked Qin Haodong to sit down and said, "Little Qin, what do you do?" "I am a Chinese medicine practitioner." While speaking, Qin Haodong also looked at the old man opposite him. Li Wanquan's cultivation had reached the 9th level of covert power. It seemed that he had been in this realm for a long time. Li Wanquan asked again, "Little Qin, have you practiced martial arts?" "A few days." Li Wanquan asked, "Have you reached the level of supreme power?" Qin Haodong nodded. In line with the principle of keeping a low profile, he did not say that he was a level 9 supreme power master. Li Wanquan did not continue this topic. He said, "Did Zhumei tell you about the opening of the forbidden area tomorrow?" Qin Haodong said, "Yes, she told me." "Then you have to be prepared. You and Zhumei are the hope of our entire Hmong village. The descendants of our Jiuli tribe have been waiting for thousands of years, but we still haven't been able to open the forbidden area." "Oh. Okay." Qin Haodong answered vaguely. Suddenly, he realized something and said, "Grandpa, isn't it Zhumei's business to open the forbidden area? What does it have to do with me? Why do I need to prepare for it?" Li Wanquan was slightly stunned. "Didn't Zhumei tell you?" Qin Haodong immediately felt that something was wrong. He said, "No, she just said that her blood is needed to open the forbidden area. She didn't say that it has anything to do with me. It seems that she didn't tell you the whole truth." "Let me tell you." Li Wanquan said, "To open the forbidden area, the blood of the Holy Virgin alone is not enough. We also need the blood of the Divine Son." "Divine Son? Who is the Divine Son?" Qin Haodong asked in surprise. "Of course it's you. As the man of the Holy Virgin, you are the Divine Son chosen by our Hmong village." Li Wanquan said, "According to the records of our ancestors, the blood of the Holy Virgin and the Divine Son is needed to open the forbidden area. Once it is opened, you also need to enter the forbidden area together to obtain the inheritance of the Jiuli tribe. This girl hid so many things from me. It seems that I have to spank her when I go back." Qin Haodong thought to himself, but he also understood Li Zhumei's thoughts. After all, the time they spent together was very short and very rushed. The process was a little special. She must be afraid that he would not come to the Hmong village with her after she told him these things. "Grandpa, how should I open the forbidden area?" He was afraid that Li Zhumei also lied about this. If it was not 3 drops of blood, but 3 liters of blood, then he would really be drained and become a sacrifice. Li Wanquan told him the method of opening the forbidden area again. The rest was exactly the same as what Li Zhumei said. She did not lie to him. After that, he suddenly threw away his crutch and knelt in front of Qin Haodong. "Little Qin, on behalf of tens of thousands of people in the Hmong village, I beg you to help us open the forbidden area and get the inheritance of Qiyu." Qin Haodong was shocked and quickly reached out to help the old man up. "What do you mean, Mr. Li? Let's talk about it." Li Wanquan said excitedly, "Our Jiuli tribe is the descendant of Qiyu, but the inheritance of Qiyu is locked in the forbidden area. For thousands of years, we have tried countless times according to the method of inheritance, but in the end, we can't open the forbidden area and get the inheritance of the great God, which leads to the decline of our Jiuli tribe. In terms of cultivation, we only have some scattered cultivation methods. At most, we can cultivate to the 9th level of covert power. Because of the lack of cultivation methods, we can't make any further progress. Now, what we can barely use is the voodoo and some methods of using poison. But these are just a drop in the ocean among Chiyo's supernatural abilities. It's far from enough. If we want to revitalize our Jiuli tribe, we can only open the forbidden area and get the inheritance. I know you don't belong to our Jiuli tribe and Jumei must have used some dirty tricks on you. But as the patriarch of the Jiuli tribe, I beg you to help us open the forbidden area and help us this time. In the future, you will be a great benefactor of our Jiuli tribe. Old man, don't worry. I will definitely help you if I can. Qin Haodong was a very responsible man. Since he had become Li Jumei's lover, he was willing to help her tribe. Li Wanquan said gratefully, "Thank you, young man. Thank you so much. But we don't know what the forbidden area looks like and whether it is dangerous or not. For thousands of years, no one has ever entered it. It's nothing. I will definitely bring Jumei out safely." When Qin Haodong was in the cultivation world, he had visited famous mountains and ancient relics everywhere. With his current cultivation, he did not care too much about danger. He said again, "But I don't quite understand. This is the forbidden area of your Jiuli tribe. Why do you let me, an outsider, go in?" Li Wanquan said, "According to the ancient records of our Jiuli tribe, if we want to open the forbidden area, we must use the blood of the Holy Virgin and the Divine Sun. But there is no too much explanation about the Divine Sun. In the past years, we have been selecting the Divine Sun from our tribe, but for so many years, we have not succeeded once. This time, I will take a risk and let Jumei enter the outside world. If she is fated to marry, we will choose a Divine Sun from outside. If not, we will continue to select from our tribe. I didn't expect that Jumei would bring you back. I feel that you are better than any previous Divine Sun. Maybe the opportunity to open the forbidden area has finally come. Grandpa, if possible, I will do my best to help the Jiuli tribe open the forbidden area." Qin Haodong had obtained the Xian Yuan sword, which meant that he had obtained the inheritance of the Yellow Emperor. This also made him full of curiosity about Qiyu, the ancient god, and he did not know what he had left for his descendants. After chatting for a while, Li Wanquan told him all the matters about opening the forbidden area and asked someone to send him back to his room. After entering the room, he locked the door and saw Li Jumei sitting on the bed, looking at him pitifully. She said like a good girl, "I told you everything. You told me everything. How dare you lie to me? I will spank you." After that, Qin Haodong pulled Li Jumei over and raised his hand to slap her on the butt. With a crisp sound, the atmosphere in the room seemed to be a little ambiguous. Li Jumei said, "In fact, I didn't mean to lie to you. I was afraid that you would be scared and would not dare to come to the Hmong village with me. I know that there may be dangers in the forbidden area, so I didn't intend to let you go with me. As long as you help me open the forbidden area, I will go in alone." Feeling the sincerity in her words, Qin Haodong kissed her on the cheek and said, "Silly girl, since you are my woman, I have the responsibility to protect your safety. How can I let you go in alone?" Chapter 654. Looking at the sincere and handsome face in front of her, Li Jumei knew that she had made the right choice this time. She did not waste those bags of enchantment. "Haodong, I'm so touched by what you said," Li Jumei said and put her white arms around Qin Haodong's neck. She said coquettishly, "But you just hurt me. Now I need you to compensate me." After a night of torment, the sun was already high in the sky when they got up the next day. The golden sun shrouded the whole village, which looked solemn and sacred. After breakfast, everyone busied themselves with preparing for tonight's sacrificial ceremony. Only Qin Haodong was idle. He went out for a walk and enjoyed the scenery of the Hmong village. The scenery here was beautiful and he enjoyed the original scenery very much. Near dusk, the chief Li Wanquan selected 100 villagers from the Hmong village. Everyone brought all kinds of sacrificial supplies and rushed to the back mountain together. As the Holy Virgin and Divine Son of the Hmong village, Qin Haodong and Li Jiumei were indispensable in this sacrifice. In addition to them, other people of the Li family also participated in this sacrifice, including the three brothers. The sacred mountain for the sacrifice was behind the Hmong village. There was an ancient temple on the top of the mountain. The statue of Qi Yu was enshrined in the temple, which was the belief of all the people of the Hmong village in Xiangxi. In front of the temple, Li Wanquan led all the clansmen to carry out the complicated worship. When they finished these rituals, the sun had already set and the whole mountain was slowly swallowed by darkness. The clansmen of the Hmong village lit the torches that they had prepared and then walked to the back mountain of the temple. This was the most crucial place today, the forbidden area of the Qiyu tribe. There were no walls or guards here, but no one dared to step into it. If anyone dared to step into the forbidden area, they would be burned by fire. The terrain here was also very strange. A flat land of nearly 100 square meters suddenly appeared on the rugged mountain. In the center of the flat land stood a statue of a monster. Qin Haodong took Jiumei's hand, and the two of them came to the front of the monster statue. This monster that they had never seen before looked extremely fierce. Although they knew that it was just a stone statue, it gave people a great sense of oppression, as if it could choose to eat people at any time. Li Wanquan led his clansmen to kowtow to the monster, and then said to Qin Haodong and Li Wanquan, "Use your blood to open the forbidden area." After he finished speaking, all the clansmen fixed their eyes on the two of them. At this moment, the Divine Son and the Saintess were the hope of the entire Jiuli tribe. Li Jiumei took out a silver knife that she had prepared a long time ago and cut her and Qin Haodong's index fingers. They each dripped 3 drops of blood into the monster's mouth. Speaking of which, it was strange. Originally, the monster was just a stone statue, but when the blood dripped into its mouth, it slowly seeped into the stone and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Everyone became nervous and stared at the stone statue in front of them. Li Wanquan's family was even more nervous. The entire Jiuli tribe had been waiting here for thousands of years, but they still did not get the inheritance. They did not know if they could persuade Qi Yu to open the forbidden area today. 1 second, 2 seconds. Time passed little by little, but there was still no reaction from the stone statue. There was a flash of disappointment in Li Wanquan's eyes. Could it be that they failed again this time? If they wanted to open the forbidden area again, they could only wait for another 20 years. Just when everyone's heart was about to sink, suddenly a dazzling light flashed in the eyes of the monster statue, and then there was a roar, and then it suddenly rotated 180 degrees. As the monster statue rotated, a big hole of 5 meters square appeared in the mountain behind it. Qi Yu, the great god, the forbidden area is finally open. Seeing everything in front of him, Li Wanquan was so excited that he burst into tears. He knelt down in front of the stone statue and repeatedly kowtowed to the forbidden area. Behind him, the clansmen also knelt down, one by one crying. After waiting for thousands of years, they could finally get the inheritance of Qi Yu. Li Jiumei also looked very excited. She took Qin Haodong's hand and said, "Let's go in." Although she did not know what was going on in the forbidden area, as the Holy Virgin of the tribe, she had to do something for the tribe. At this moment, Qin Haodong's expression suddenly changed, and he turned his head to look at the darkness beside him. "Someone is coming." Hearing his words, Li Wanquan and the others showed a surprised look. This was the forbidden area. Except for the order of the patriarch, no one was allowed to enter. Why would someone come at this time? At this moment, a group of black-clothed men suddenly appeared in everyone's line of sight. These people were wrapped tightly from head to toe. Their faces were covered with scarves and they held long swords in their hands. Without a single sound, they charged towards the group. "Oh no, it's an enemy attack. Guard the forbidden area." Li Wanquan immediately realized that these were not people of their tribe, but invading enemies. For the opening of the forbidden area this time, the entire Hmong village had made sufficient preparations, including resisting the invasion of foreign enemies. The 100 selected clansmen were all warriors above the covert power level, and they also carried Hmong on their backs. Swords. After receiving the order from their leader, these people all drew out their swords. The sabers slashed towards the black-robed men. Very quickly, the two sides clashed and clashed. There were about 40 to 50 men in black who suddenly attacked. Although the number was less than half of the people of the Hmong village, these people were all very strong and almost all of them had reached the 9th level of the covert power. Not only did they not suffer any losses, but they also had an absolute advantage. Especially the leader of the men in black, it seemed that his combat strength had reached the supreme power level. The Japanese swords in his hands were extremely fierce. No matter who the Hmong village's swords were, they would be cut into two pieces. In such a short time, 3 or 4 clansmen of the Hmong village had been injured by his swords. Li Jumei's face was extremely gloomy and she said angrily, "These are the Japanese. What are they doing in our Hmong village?" Qin Haodong also frowned slightly. Although these people were dressed as ninjas, he could see that they were not ninjas from Neon. At the same time, he felt very strange. These people were obviously very strong and the weakest one was at the level of the covert power. However, his spirit could not perceive their cultivation. He could not even feel the aura and the flow of genuine qi of any warrior. Seeing that his clansmen were injured, Li Wanquan roared and held the Japanese swords in his hands. The swords in his hands were aimed at the leader of the men in black. Although his cultivation had reached the 9th level of the covert power, the opponent's combat strength was at the supreme power level. The Japanese swords in his hands drew a stream of light and chopped at Li Wanquan's head. Feeling the opponent's strength, Li Wanquan tried his best to wave the Japanese swords in his hands. The Japanese swords in his hands were not ordinary. The saber was not an ordinary item. It did not break, but the huge force shook his hands until they were numb, and he almost broke the saber. The Japanese swords fell to the ground. The man in black did not stop. He waved the Japanese swords in his hands and directly stabbed at Li Wanquan's throat. The Japanese swords in Li Wanquan's hands were still in the air. His arms were numb, so he had no time to defend himself. The Japanese swords were about to pierce through his throat. He thought that he was finished. He closed his eyes, but there was no pain in his neck. Instead, he heard a scream. When he opened his eyes, he saw that the man in black's arms had fallen to the ground together with the Japanese swords. His legs had also been cut in two. He did not know when Qin Haodong was standing beside him. "Keep this man alive." Qin Haodong did not know when the forbidden area would close, so he did not stop. He used the sky-stealing leg skill and the Xian Yuan sword in his hand was like a bolt of lightning, constantly devouring the lives of the men in black. In less than 2 minutes, these men in black were either dead or injured. All of them had lost their combat strength. Seeing that his clansmen were out of danger, Li Wanquan shouted anxiously, "Little Qin, take Jumei into the forbidden area, or it will be too late." They had no experience in opening the forbidden area, so they did not know how long the cave could remain open. Once it was closed, they would have to wait for another 20 years. Moreover, no one knew whether the next Divine Son and Holy Virgin could be recognized by this monster stone statue. Qin Haodong also knew that the situation was urgent. His figure flashed and he rushed into the cave with Li Jumei. As soon as they entered, the cave behind them slowly closed. This was a downward cave. There were stone steps under their feet. Although the cave had been closed, it did not feel dark here. As far as the eye could see, there was a pearl inlaid not far from the top of the cave, emitting a soft light. "Is this a night-luminescent pearl?" Qin Haodong was shocked. The pearl was definitely a rare treasure. As long as he took out one, it would be a great fortune. If he took so many night-luminescent pearls outside, he would be rich enough to rival a country. He gently jumped to the top of the cave and reached out to grab the pearl. He did not expect that the pearl was tightly inlaid on the top of the cave, as if it was sealed there by some mysterious force. If he wanted to take it out, he might have to use the Xian Yuan sword to break it. But at such a close distance, he was sure that the pearl in front of him was a night-luminescent pearl. Li Jiumei hurriedly shouted, "Don't move. This is the holy land of Qiyu. It's disrespectful to him." "Well, let's go inside and have a look." Qin Haodong was not a greedy person. He was just curious. He took Li Jiumei and walked into the cave. They walked down the stone steps step by step. The cave was very long, and after a few turns, their eyes suddenly widened. A solemn and simple hall appeared in front of them, looking extremely majestic. Facing this magnificent hall, the two of them suddenly felt a kind of ancient desolation. They walked in and saw an extremely tall statue in the center of the hall. Although it was just a statue, it gave off an immense pressure. This kind of pressure was thousands of times stronger than the stone beast on top. There were many other statues on both sides of the stone statue. They were in various postures and holding various weapons in their hands. "This is Qiyu." After Li Jiumei finished speaking, she knelt on the ground and bowed. At this moment, a tiger's roar rang out as a gigantic white tiger appeared before the two of them. Chapter 655. This white tiger was much larger than an ordinary tiger. Its body was almost transparent and it was 6 or 7 meters long from head to tail. It looked extremely fierce. "Why is there a tiger here?" Qin Haodong didn't have time to think too much. He pulled Li Jiumei and retreated. "Ow! Ow! Ow!" The big white tiger let out a deafening roar. Then, with a leap, it pounced towards the two of them like a bolt of lightning. Not only was this guy huge, but he was also terrifyingly fast. "Kill!" Qin Haodong also shouted angrily and stabbed the white tiger with the Xianyuan sword in his hand. Ding! The Xianyuan sword stabbed the white tiger's forehead, but it didn't hurt the white tiger at all. Instead, it made Qin Haodong's wrist numb. He was greatly shocked. Could it be that this white tiger had already cultivated to become a spirit? Why was its body even harder than metal? But at this moment, the white tiger left him and rushed to Li Jiumei next to him. The white tiger was so fast that Li Jiumei couldn't dodge it at all. Qin Haodong's expression changed greatly. The Xianyuan sword drew a stream of light and slashed at the white tiger's waist. Ding! The Xianyuan sword was shaken and flew back again, but the white tiger did not stop and rushed to Li Jiumei. Its big mouth was already close to her. "Beast, how dare you!" Qin Haodong's eyes were bloodshot. He didn't have time to catch the Xianyuan sword. He used his stealing divine legs and kicked the white tiger's big head. In order to save him, he had already used all the power in his body. However, to his surprise, he had kicked empty air. The white tiger had already disappeared. Qin Haodong quickly stopped and looked back. The white tiger had indeed disappeared and a knife was floating in front of Li Jiumei. The knife was about 5 feet long and the handle was about 1 foot long. It was covered with spiral patterns and looked like a tiger's tail. The handguard in front was like a tiger's claw. The knife was about 4 feet long and its whole body was almost transparent. There were bone spurs inside. "What's this?" Although Qin Haodong didn't understand how the white tiger suddenly turned into a knife, he could feel the huge pressure emitted by the knife. It was not inferior to the Xianyuan sword at all. At this time, Li Jiumei exclaimed, "The Tiger Soul Saber. This is Qiyou's Tiger Soul Saber." Only then did Qin Haodong realize that the white tiger was as hard as iron. It turned out that it was transformed from the amber knife. Legend has it that the tiger's soul saber was the weapon used by the god of war, Qiyu, to fight against the Yellow Emperor. The Yellow Emperor had the help of the mysterious Maiden of the Nine Heavens, and Qi Yu was no match for him. Thus, he fed a meteorite from outer space to his mount, the war tiger. As a result, the meteorite from outer space and the bloodline of the divine tiger fused together to form a shocking divine weapon, which was the tiger's soul saber. Qin Haodong didn't expect to see this magic weapon again. He reached out to grab the handle of the tiger's soul saber, but the tiger's soul saber slid to the side as if it had a mind of its own, making him grab nothing. He suddenly realized something and said to Li Jiumei, "This is the sacred object of your Jiuli tribe. Try it and see if you can catch it." Li Jiumei nodded and slowly reached out to grab the handle of the tiger's soul saber. This time, the tiger's soul saber did not dodge, but stayed there quietly, as if waiting for its master. She immediately felt the power of the tiger's soul saber when she grabbed the handle of the saber. The whole saber exuded a shocking murderous aura, like a fierce tiger choosing people to eat. Qin Haodong said, "I see. The tiger's soul saber was left here by Qi Yu to guard the temple. Just now, he found that you have the blood of the Jiuli tribe, so he stopped attacking. If it were an outsider, he would have been killed by the saber." "Thank you, Master Qi Yu." Li Jiumei knelt down again and kowtowed to the statue of Qi Yu. Qin Haodong said, "Try it and see if you can make the tiger's soul saber recognize you as its master." After that, he told her how to make the saber recognize her as its master. Li Jiumei pricked her index finger and a drop of blood fell on the tiger's soul saber. The drop of blood was like a drop of water on a sponge, quickly disappearing. Then the tiger's soul saber shook and suddenly disappeared into Li Jiumei's body. Both of them were delighted. It was a worthwhile trip to get the peerless divine weapon, the tiger's soul saber. At this moment, a huge figure suddenly appeared in front of the temple. This figure was exactly the same as the statue of Qi Yu next to it. It was the ancient god of war, Qi Yu. Although Qin Haodong could see that it was only a remnant soul left by Qi Yu, he could still feel his strength and his domineering momentum. It could be seen what kind of existence Qi Yu was in the past. Li Jiumei did not expect that the god she believed in would appear in front of her. She was slightly stunned at first, and then she knelt on the ground. Li Jiumei of the Jiuli tribe greets Master Qi Yu. Junior Qin Haodong greets Master Qi Yu. Qi Yu glanced at Li Jiumei and Qin Haodong, and a powerful voice sounded in their minds, "Get up, my child." Li Jiumei slowly stood up, and her expression was still extremely respectful. She turned to look at Qin Haodong and said, "I feel the aura of the Xian Yuan sword. Little fellow, are you a descendant of the Yellow Emperor?" There was no doubt that all the Wuxia people were descendants of the Yellow Emperor. However, it was said that Qi Yu was killed by the Yellow Emperor, so the hatred between them was as deep as the sea. This made Qin Haodong quite nervous. He did not know if the divine thought left by Qi Yu would suddenly go berserk. He said cautiously, "I'm indeed a descendant of the Yellow Emperor. I got the Xian Yuan sword by chance." Unexpectedly, Qi Yu did not show any dissatisfaction. On the contrary, he nodded and said with a face of approval, "You can unlock the seal outside the Xian Yuan sword. It can be seen that you are indeed extraordinary." Qin Haodong's heart skipped a beat and he asked, "Master Qi Yu, you know that the Xian Yuan sword was sealed. Did you seal it?" Qi Yu shook his head and said, "How could I seal the Xian Yuan sword? It was done by the alien demon." "The alien demon? What's that?" Qin Haodong was surprised. He had never heard of the alien demon in ancient times. "Let's not talk about it now. I'll tell you later." Qi Yu said, "You two little guys, tell me, what is the story about me and the Yellow Emperor now?" Qin Haodong did not know why he asked this, so he told them the story, including the legend of the battle between the Yellow Emperor and Qi Yu, how the Yellow Emperor cut off Qi Yu's head with the Xian Yuan sword and buried his body and head in two different places. After listening to him, Qi Yu sighed and said, "As I expected, the descendants were still fooled by the tricks of the alien demon." Qin Haodong asked doubtfully, "Master Qi Yu, is the legend wrong?" Didn't you die in the hands of the Yellow Emperor? Not only is it wrong, but it's also wrong. Chi Yu said, the Yellow Emperor and I fought side by side against the alien demon. How could I die in his hands? Qin Haodong finally understood why Chi Yu was not angry at all after hearing that he was a descendant of the Yellow Emperor. On the contrary, he was extremely friendly. It turned out that the hatred between the two was not as deep as the legend said. But what was the truth? Where did the alien demon come from? Where were they now? This made him have countless questions in his heart. Li Jiumei also thought so. In the inheritance of the Jiuli tribe, the Yellow Emperor had always been the great enemy of the Jiuli tribe because he killed their ancestor, Qiyu. She did not expect that Qiyu's words would subvert their understanding. Qin Haodong asked, Master Qiyu, what's going on? What happened back then? Qiyu said, in those days, the Yellow Emperor and I each led a tribe. Although we were not friends, there was no big conflict between us. Even if there were some conflicts between the tribes, it was within a very small scope. We were not enemies of life and death, so there was no need to start a war. The so-called Battle of Zhuolu was not a thing. Originally, our two tribes lived our own lives and didn't have much interaction with each other. Until one day, the space of this realm was suddenly torn apart by the alien demons. Li Jiumei asked, what is the alien demon? Chi Yu said, they are creatures living in another realm. I don't know how they tore the barrier between space and ran to our divine land one by one. These alien demons are extremely fierce. Although there are not many of them, they burn, kill, loot and kill living creatures. They want to kill all of us and then occupy this realm. In the face of the foreign invasion, the Yellow Emperor and I naturally could not sit back and do nothing. The two of us joined forces to fight against the enemy. After paying a great price, we finally repaired the torn space. After repairing the space, the next step is to fight against the alien demons who have traveled through time. We want to eradicate these foreign races who have harmed living creatures. And these alien demons want to kill us and then open the space again so that their clansmen can come to this realm. So it is not a hatred between one or two people, but a war to the death. The leader of the alien demons is the alien demon emperor. Originally, his cultivation was not much lower than the Yellow Emperor and I. But in the process of repairing the space, we consumed a lot of energy and couldn't restore our cultivation in a short time. In order to protect our clansmen, we can't retreat. The Yellow Emperor and I joined forces to fight against the alien demon emperor. The Yellow Emperor hurt the alien demon emperor seriously, but he was also killed by the alien demon emperor. At the same time, the Xian Yuan sword was sealed. Qin Haodong finally understood why the power that sealed the Xian Yuan sword was so strange. He had never seen it before. It turned out that the seal was left by the alien demon emperor and it belonged to the power from a different space. Qiyu continued, the alien demon emperor not only has a high cultivation, but he is also extremely cunning. He knew that the alien demons who have traveled through time could not fight against us, so he used a vicious plan to sow discord. After killing the Yellow Emperor, he turned into the Yellow Emperor and fought with me, which caused a misunderstanding among other tribes. They thought that the Yellow Emperor and I became enemies. This is the source of the legend of your later generations. Li Jiumei could not help asking, what happened next? Is the alien demon emperor dead? Chapter 656. Qiyu said, after the alien demon emperor was severely injured by the Yellow Emperor, his strength was greatly reduced. We fought for 7 days and 7 nights. In the end, he cut off my head and I pierced his heart. We died together. Qin Haodong was secretly shocked. It turned out that the ancient war was completely different from what had been told, but it was even more tragic. Qiyu raised his head and heaved a long sigh. That war back then was extremely tragic. On our side, Xing Tian, Hutu, Dongdong, Zhurong, Yinglong, Nuba. Countless powerful cultivators paid with their lives. Li Jumei asked, what about the invading alien demons? Have they all been killed? Chi Yu said, there were many alien demons who crossed over. Although we killed the alien demon emperor and the main force, there were still some who escaped. These remnants are hiding in the dark, waiting for an opportunity to tear open the space again and release their clansmen from another world to invade our divine land. The alien demons have not been eliminated yet. That's why I left a remnant soul and gathered you here. Qin Haodong asked, it has been 5,000 years since the ancient war, but there has been no news of the alien demons. Is it possible that they are all dead? Qi Yu shook his head and said, that's impossible. The alien demons are extremely strong. Although I don't know the specific situation, I guess they have a very long life. It's possible that they can live for hundreds or even thousands of years. Moreover, the alien demons are proficient in the art of transformation and they can transform into the appearance of humans to survive and reproduce. Although I was killed by the alien demon emperor, my divine soul still existed for a period of time. I once made a divination for the descendants of the human clan. The divination shows that there will be a great disaster for the human clan in 5,000 years. It should be related to the alien demons. Qin Haodong had to face it seriously because it was related to the life and death of the entire human clan. He asked, Master Chi Yu, what can we do to solve this disaster? I don't know what the remnants of the alien demons will do, but there are two things you must do. First, hurry up and develop the strength of the human clan, improve your cultivation and prepare to fight against the alien demons. Second, get rid of the estrangement and unite as one. We can't let the alien demon emperor succeed. Don't let the descendants of the Jiuli tribe and the descendants of the Yellow Emperor become enemies. Chi Yu said, the legends you told me before have been spread among the human clan for a long time and they have a deep influence. Even the descendants of the Yellow Emperor wouldn't believe what I just told you if only the descendants of the Jiuli tribe were to spread the news. Because of this, when I left behind this inheritance, I set the opening method to be opened by the saintess of the Jiuli tribe and the divine son with the bloodline of the Yellow Emperor. Jiuli tribe and you belong to two clans, Jiuli clan, Jiuli, Jiu. Jiu, you said. Demons, Li, alien clan, you, alien demons, Li, and Ji Emperor Li, you, Li said. Demon, Li, you. Is. Qin. Out. Yang. How can we find them? Qin Haodong asked. Chi Yu said, the aura of the alien demons is very similar to the seal on your Xian Yuan sword. But if they try their best to hide, it will be difficult to find them. The best way is to hurry up and improve the strength of the human clan. According to my calculation, it is not long before the alien demons attack. You must hurry up and get ready. Li Jumei said, Master Chi Yu, the Jiuli tribe is declining because of the lack of your inheritance. Please give us your divine skills. Chi Yu said, I've said everything I need to say. Now I'll help you improve your cultivation with the soul I've saved. At the same time, I'll pass on the magic arts of the Jiuli tribe to you. You'll be responsible for passing it on to other clans. After that, his tall figure suddenly shrank and finally turned into a light spot. He disappeared into Li Jumei's Naiwan palace. Li Jumei sat cross-legged on the ground and suddenly there were many things in her mind. It was the inheritance of Chi Yu. Tactics of God of War. This was the cultivation method that Chi Yu had practiced in the past. According to the route of the tactics of God of War, she slowly ran her power and began to absorb the power of Chi Yu's soul. Qin Haodong looked around and found that it was very safe here. There was no need to protect Li Jumei, so he wandered around in the temple. Chi Yu was an ancient god, so he should have left something good, but he found nothing after wandering around for a long time. At this moment, he saw a small box on a shrine. There were faint signs of spiritual qi fluctuations in the box. What's this? Could it be a treasure? Qin Haodong hurriedly walked over and checked it. There was no defensive formation. He reached out and opened the lid of the box. There were 2 white stones inside. After the lid was opened, they immediately emitted rich spiritual qi. "Oh my God, my master Qiyu, you're so kind!" Qin Haodong shouted excitedly. It turned out that there were 2 upper-level spirit stones in the box, and their quality was no worse than those in the 12 zodiac. Sure enough, in addition to the 12 zodiac, there were other upper-level spirit stones on the earth. The box that stored the spirit stones was also a good thing. There was a faint seal power on it. It was precisely because of this box that the spiritual qi of the upper-level spirit stones did not dissipate and had been preserved to this day. That's great. What he needed most now was the upper-level spirit stones, so he directly put the box and the spirit stones into the storage ring. Together with the 2 he got from the 12 zodiac, he already had 4 upper-level spirit stones. However, he needed a lot of spiritual qi to break through to the Yuanying realm. To be on the safe side, he was going to start to break through to the next realm after collecting 6 spirit stones. He looked back at Li Jiumei, who was cultivating. At this time, her aura was much stronger than before. She was breaking through the bottleneck of the supreme power realm. It seemed that there was still a period of time before she finished cultivating. He had nothing to do, so he wandered around in the temple. He really didn't know how this temple was built. It was not only magnificent, but also large. He walked slowly to the back and found that there was a back door behind the temple. After opening it, there was a medicine garden. Oh my God! After seeing this medicine garden, Qin Haodong's eyeballs almost popped out of his eye sockets. He saw that there was spiritual qi lingering in it, and there were all good things. This ginseng is as thick as a child's arm. This is a 5,000-year-old blood ginseng. Oh my God, the 7-leaf Ganoderma can grow so big. It's like a pot lid, and this is the 9-leaf black ice grass. It can even produce ice flowers. Is this the soul refining grass? Qin Haodong pulled up a fiery red herb. The soul refining grass could burn the soul in the human body. Generally, it was used by evil cultivators to refine puppets. He didn't expect that it could also be found on the earth. As a Chinese medicine practitioner, when he saw these precious herbs, he had an impulse to go crazy. This medicine garden had been idle for 5,000 years. Not only there were many kinds of herbs, but no one had been here for so many years. So a random thatch pulled up was 5,000 years old, not to mention other precious herbs. This is great. With these precious medicinal ingredients, I will be able to concoct even higher grade pills and help the people around me quickly increase their cultivation. The value of these spiritual herbs was no less than that of the 2 upper-level spirit stones just now. Qin Haodong excitedly took out his tools and carefully picked them. These were all thousands of years old spiritual herbs. He did not destroy the foundation. He just picked the parts he needed and left all the roots. After a few years, this place would be full of spiritual herbs again. After picking the elixirs, Qin Haodong walked around the divine hall again, but this time he did not find anything good. However, the 2 upper-level spirit stones and countless spiritual herbs had made him very satisfied. Finally, this trip was not in vain. At this time, Li Jiumei had already improved her cultivation to the 5th level of the supreme power realm, and there was no sign of her stopping. He couldn't help sighing secretly. Qiyu was indeed an ancient mighty figure. He could help Li Jiumei improve so much with only a remnant soul left behind. He sat next to Li Jiumei and thought about what Qiyu had said from beginning to end. His heart was much heavier. With the potential enemy, the alien demon, hiding in the dark, everything else was not important. Now the top priority was to resolve the contradictions, improve their cultivation, and unite against the foreign enemies. Otherwise, if the remnants of the alien demon really broke the space hole again, there would be no mighty figures like the Yellow Emperor and Qiyu to repair it. At that time, it would bring disaster to the whole earth, and maybe even the human race would be extinct. When it came to resolving the contradictions, Chiyu had to admit that he was very comprehensive. He wanted the two of them to bring out the ancient secrets and resolve the hatred between the Yellow Emperor and the Jiuli tribe. However, Chiyu did not expect that after his death, the contradiction between the Jiuli tribe and the descendants of the Yellow Emperor was not prominent. What was prominent was that his wife, Yaoli, created a devil gate and had been against the descendants of the Yellow Emperor for thousands of years. He believed that after Li Jiumei went out, the grievances between the Jiuli tribe and the descendants of the Yellow Emperor would soon be resolved. The most difficult thing was how to deal with the contradictions between the Devil Gate and the Zihang Sword House. Now he was the sacred master of the Zihang Sword House, and everyone in the Zihang Sword House would definitely believe what he said and listen to his orders. But the Devil Gate was different. First of all, he had to make the current Yaoli believe his words. But Yaoli was at the Saint Realm and he had just killed the 4 heavenly kings of the Devil Gate. He was afraid that he would be killed before he could say anything. After thinking for a long time, he finally realized that the top priority was to improve his cultivation and strengthen the strength of the people around him. Only when he was strong could he have the right to speak and persuade Yaoli. Otherwise, everything would be useless. He looked back and found that Li Jiumei still showed no signs of ending, so he took out the Shinong tripod and began to refine pills. He got all these herbs from Chiyu, and the Jiuli tribe would be an important force in the fight against the alien demons in the future. Therefore, he decided to refine some elixirs for the Jiuli tribe to improve their cultivation. Chapter 657. In the following period of time, Li Jiumei absorbed and refined the power of the divine soul left by Chiyu, while Qin Haodong refined elixirs beside her. Although the efficiency and quality of the elixir refining were somewhat reduced without the little fellow's help, his current cultivation had been raised to the 9th level of the supreme power realm, which was enough to make up for the previous gap. The most important thing was that the quality of the medicinal materials was too good. Any one of them was more than 5,000 years old, and the elixirs refined were much more effective than the previous ones. After refining enough spirit-culturing elixirs and energy-gathering elixirs, Qin Haodong tried to refine higher-level spirit elixirs and saint-breaking elixirs. In the past, he did not have the corresponding medicinal materials and his cultivation was low, so he could not refine such high-level elixirs, but now he had the conditions. Soon, the spirit-raising elixirs were fresh out of the furnace. The effect of this elixir was similar to that of energy-gathering elixirs, but the effect was much better. A warrior at the supreme power realm could improve his cultivation by 1 level. The saint-breaking elixir could double the chances of a level 9 supreme power master breaking through the bottleneck of the saint realm. Although this kind of elixir was precious, he did not refine too many of them. After all, there were only a few level 9 supreme power masters around him. 3 days later, Qin Haodong refined enough elixirs and Li Jiumei also finished her cultivation. Her aura was countless times stronger than before. She had reached the 9th level of the supreme power realm. Qin Haodong said, "You're finally awake. Congratulations, you're now a level 9 supreme power master." Li Jiumei said with a happy face, "Chiyo's incantation of God of War is really amazing. It's much stronger than the cultivation methods we practiced before, and his divine soul is also strong enough. Although I'm now a level 9 supreme power master, I've only absorbed a small part of it. If I absorb all of it, I can at least enter the threshold of the saint realm." Qin Haodong said, "You can't be too hasty in your cultivation. Your original cultivation is too low. If you improve too much at once, it will easily cause your foundation to be unstable. You'd better consolidate it for a period of time before continuing to improve." Li Jiumei said, "I think so too. Now I have to go out and tell my people about Chiyu and pass on the incantation of God of War to them. Only when my people become stronger quickly can we resist the invasion of the alien demons and fulfill Chiyo's last wish." Qin Haodong nodded. "I can help you. As they spoke, the two of them walked in the direction they came from and soon arrived at the entrance of the forbidden area. Li Jiumei had obtained Chiyo's inheritance, which naturally included the way to open the forbidden area. She reached out and patted the cave wall beside her, and the entrance above slowly opened. Although they had stayed in the forbidden area for 3 days, Li Wanquan had been guarding the entrance of the cave with his clansmen. When they saw Qin Haodong and Li Jiumei coming out, they immediately surrounded them excitedly. Li Wanquan grabbed Li Jiumei's hand and asked nervously, "Jiumei, how is it? Did you obtain Chiyo's inheritance?" Li Jiumei nodded and said to all the clansmen, "Chiyo's spirit is in heaven. I have obtained all his inheritance. In the future, I will pass on Chiyo's tactics of god of war and other cultivation methods to our clansmen. In the future, our Jiuli tribe will become stronger and stronger. Hooray! Long live Chiyu! Long live the Saintess! Great! Our Jiuli tribe can finally rise. After so many years, we finally got it. We are the descendants of Chiyu." After hearing the news, the clansmen of the Hmong village were so excited that they burst into tears. They had been guarding here for thousands of years, and today they finally got what they wanted. After cheering, many clansmen of the Jiuli tribe surrounded Qin Haodong and Li Jiumei and returned to the village. When the crowd dispersed, Li Jiumei immediately asked Li Wanquan to gather dozens of core members of the Jiuli tribe together. Then she told them how Chiyu died and the invasion of the alien demons. After listening to her, everyone was shocked. This was completely different from the belief they had followed for thousands of years. Chiyu was not killed by the Yellow Emperor, but died in the battle with the alien demons. If it were not for the fact that Li Jiumei was the saintess of the village and that the divine son and the saintess had just returned from the forbidden area, they would really think that he was talking nonsense. Li Jiumei said, "According to the instructions of Chiyu, our Jiuli tribe should improve our strength as soon as possible, and then prepare to fight with the alien demons to protect the safety of our human clan." Li Wanquan said, "Since this is the instruction of Chiyu, our Jiuli tribe will not hesitate. If the alien demons appear, we will fight them to the end even if we have to fight to the last man." After he finished speaking, the other clansmen also agreed with him and were filled with righteous indignation. As the descendants of the god of war, they naturally could not flinch in the face of the invasion of the alien demons. At this time, Qin Haodong said, "Everyone, the alien demons killed the Yellow Emperor and Chiyu. It can be seen that they are powerful, so it is not enough for us to be fearless. We have to improve our ability as soon as possible." This time, Jiumei brought back the inheritance of Chiyu. "Please cultivate as soon as possible. I can help you improve quickly." Li Jiumei also said, "Haodong is right. I brought back the god of war incantation of Chiyu from the forbidden area. Now I will pass it to you. Please have a look." After that, she explained the cultivation method of the god of war incantation to everyone present. Everyone sat cross-legged on the ground and began to practice the god of war incantation according to Li Jiumei's explanation. They were the descendants of the Jiuli tribe and had the blood of the god of war, so it was twice the result with half the effort to cultivate Chiyo's god of war incantation. Soon, these people mastered the god of war incantation and began to run a large circle. Then the crackling sound of breaking through was endless. These people were all elites of the Hmong village. Because of the cultivation method, their cultivation had been stagnant for many years. Now that they had obtained the god of war incantation, their previous bottlenecks were broken and their cultivation was rapidly improved. Li Wanquan, Li Longhai and Song Ying had all reached the 9th level of covert power. After obtaining the god of war incantation, they were eager to break through. But after a long time, although they touched the bottleneck of the supreme power realm, they still could not break through. Qin Haodong stepped behind Li Wanquan, stretched out his palm and patted his Baihui acupoint on the top of his head. Li Wanquan felt a thunderclap in his mind and the bottleneck that had blocked him for many years was broken. Then his genuine chi surged like a river and he instantly broke through to the supreme power realm. Then Qin Haodong took out a newly refined energy-gathering pill and stuffed it into Li Wanquan's mouth. Li Wanquan felt countless pure genuine qi rising from his dantian, and his cultivation was faintly moving towards the second level of the supreme power realm. Next, he helped Li Longhai and Song Ying to break through the bottleneck of the Guru realm. Then, he walked among the clansmen with elixirs in his hand, distributing elixirs according to everyone's cultivation level. With the pills in their mouths, these clansmen who had already broken through once began to break through again. Some people improved by 2 levels, and some people improved by 3 or 4 levels in succession. In less than half a day, these core members of the Hmong village had been reborn and everyone's cultivation had made great progress. After finishing his cultivation, Li Wanquan came to Qin Haodong and said gratefully, "Little Qin, you are really the divine son of our Hmong village. I thank you on behalf of all the people of the Jiuli tribe." Behind him, the other clansmen also bowed to Qin Haodong and shouted in unison, "Thank you, divine son. Thank you, little magic doctor." Qin Haodong quickly helped Li Wanquan up and said, "Grandpa, it's nothing. Our top priority now is to improve our strength so that we can fight against the alien demons together in the future." Then he said, "Grandpa, where are the people we caught a few days ago? Can you take me to have a look?" Li Wanquan said, "They are locked up in our village. Let's go and have a look together." These people had been locked up in the Hmong village since they were caught. These days, he had been paying attention to the forbidden area and did not have time to interrogate them. Li Wanquan took Qin Haodong and Li Jiumei to the back mountain of the Hmong village. It was a simple prison. Generally, people in the Hmong village would be locked up here if they made a mistake. The guard here was a junior of the Li Wanquan family named Li Debao. When he saw Li Wanquan, he hurried over. "How are those people?" Li Wanquan asked. "Chief, they are all locked up inside," Li Debao said as he opened the door. In fact, there were not many people caught inside, only 7 or 8. Many black-clothed men were killed on the spot by the angry clansmen. After all, breaking into the forbidden area was a capital crime in the eyes of the Jiuli tribe. If Qin Haodong had not ordered to keep them alive, these people would not have survived. Walking into the prison, Qin Haodong looked at these black-clothed men. These people were more or less injured. They had only eaten some water and gruel in the past few days and were dying. Qin Haodong came to the black-clothed leader whose legs and arm had been cut off. He could not help but frown slightly. At this time, there was no breath in this man. It seemed that he had been dead for a long time. He bent down and pulled off the mask on the black-clothed man's face, revealing an oriental face. But his face was livid. Obviously, he had committed suicide by taking poison. Seeing that he was dead, Li Wanquan frowned and turned to Li Debao behind him and said, "What's wrong with you? Why did you kill him?" Li Debao said with a wronged expression, "I don't know. He was fine last night. How did he die today?" Qin Haodong shook his head. These Hmong people were still too simple. They had no experience in guarding against men of sacrifice, nor did they have any awareness of interrogation. Seeing that Qin Haodong was a little unhappy, Li Wanquan scolded Li Debao, "Useless thing. You can't even do such a simple thing. You're not allowed to eat tonight." Li Debao looked aggrieved and murmured, "This guy is dead. He killed so many of our clansmen. It's not a pity." Chapter 658. Li Wanquan said angrily, "How dare you talk back?" Seeing that the patriarch was really angry, Li Debao quickly shut his mouth. Qin Haodong said, "Forget it. Let's go and see the others." As he spoke, he came to a room on the side, where a lackey of the men in black was locked up. Although the man's eyes were listless, he was still alive. Obviously, he did not have the courage to commit suicide like the leader. Qin Haodong went over and pulled off the mask on his face. He also had an Asian face. He directly used mind manipulating and asked, "Are you from Wuxia or Neon?" The man said directly in Wuxia language, "I'm from Wuxia." Qin Haodong asked again, "Since you're from Wuxia, why do you dress like a Neon person?" "I don't know. The captain asked us to do this." "Who are you? Are you soldiers?" The man shook his head blankly and said, "I don't know. When I was a child, I was taken to a military camp. I've been training all these years. I'm only taken out when there's a task. This time, the captain took us out to perform a task and told us to dress up as Neon people. We just need to carry out the order. I don't know anything else." Qin Haodong asked, "Are you a warrior?" This was the question he was most concerned about. These people were obviously not warriors, but they had amazing combat power, even stronger than ordinary warriors. The man said, "No, we usually do physical training and adapt to the clothes on our bodies." Only then did Qin Haodong notice the clothes the minion was wearing. He tore off his shirt and found that there was something strange inside. There were all kinds of wires and some mechanism things on it. "What are these clothes?" The minion said, "This is the combat uniform we wear when we carry out the mission. We don't know the specific name. We only know that after wearing it, we will become extremely powerful and agile, just like Superman in the movies." Qin Haodong reached out and pulled off his pants. He threw them to Li Debao and said, "Try it on." Li Debao did not understand why he was asked to wear this man's clothes, but he had to obey the order of the divine son they admired, so he obediently put on the clothes. Qin Haodong asked, "How do you feel?" "I feel very light," Li Debao said as he moved his limbs. Qin Haodong said, "Try punching me." "Is this appropriate?" Li Debao said with some uncertainty. Li Wanquan knew that Qin Haodong must have another purpose, so he yelled, "Little bastard, just do it. How can you hurt the divine son with your little ability?" Li Debao thought about it and realized that he was an ordinary person. It was impossible for him to hurt Qin Haodong, so he punched out fiercely. Even he was shocked by the punch. Not only was it powerful, but it was also much faster. In the blink of an eye, it reached Qin Haodong's face. Qin Haodong reached out and caught Li Debao's fist. It was the 5th level of covert power. Li Debao, who was originally just an ordinary person, could hit the 5th level of the covert power after putting on the clothes, which showed how powerful the clothes were. No wonder these black-clothed men couldn't feel the slightest aura of a martial artist. It turned out that these clothes were the source of their power. He turned around and asked the minion again, "Where did these clothes come from?" The minion shook his head blankly and said, "I don't know. Every time we carry out a task, the captain will give us these combat uniforms. As for where the captain got them, I don't know." "The one with the broken leg is your captain?" "Yes, he is our captain. He is in charge of everything." "Where is your base?" The minion said, "We don't know either. Every time we carry out a task, we will be taken out blindfolded. When we go back, we will also be taken back blindfolded, so we don't know where the base is at all." Qin Haodong asked, "What are you going to do in Meng village this time?" The minion said, "Before we set off, the captain arranged this task. He asked us to kill all the people around after the forbidden area opened, and then rush into the forbidden area to grab the treasures inside. If we really can't get in, we can destroy the forbidden area, but I didn't expect that the task would be completely failed." Qin Haodong asked some more questions, but apart from these, he got nothing useful. He asked a few more black-clothed men, and the information he got was basically the same. It seemed that these minions only knew so much. The leading black-clothed man should know more information, but it was a pity that he was dead now. Since things had come to this, he could only talk about it later. He turned around and came to the captain's body. This guy's clothes were obviously more advanced than those of the others. After putting them on, he could reach the combat power of a supreme power. He took off the guy's clothes. If he found a suitable opportunity to let the professional department identify them in the future, he might be able to find clues about these people. But at this moment, he suddenly found that there was a clear tattoo on the left wrist of the corpse. The pattern was of a person kneeling on the ground and making a gesture of worship. He suddenly thought of something. He had seen such a pattern on the wrist of Davis, the president of Wilson Company. This should be the symbol of an organization, but there was still no clue about which organization it belonged to. After the interrogation, he handed all the black-clothed men over to the Hmong village and then returned to their room with Li Jiumei. Li Jiumei was also very curious about the identity of these black-clothed men. She asked, "Haodong, where do you think these black-clothed men came from?" Qin Haodong said, "Although we didn't find out who was behind the scenes, we still got a lot of information through the interrogation just now." To be able to raise such a large number of men of sacrifice all year round, it shows that the organization behind them must have strong financial resources. To be able to have such advanced combat suits, they must have powerful scientific and technological power. The most important thing is that they actually know the secret of the forbidden area, know when it will open, and want to get the things inside. If they can't get them, they will destroy the forbidden area. This shows that they want to get the things inside, but they are afraid that your Hmong village will get them. According to so much information, can you guess who the other party is? He had just learned about the forbidden area of the Hmong village a few days ago, but the other party knew so much about it. They must be very familiar with the Hmong village. They were either friends or enemies of the Hmong village. Li Jiumei thought for a long time and finally said, "Our Hmong village has always been at peace with the world. Although many people know that we worship Qiyu, not many people know the secret of the forbidden area. And even we don't know what is in the forbidden area. Why are those people afraid that we will get it? I really can't figure out who the other party is." Speaking of this, she suddenly thought of something and exclaimed, "Is it possible that they are descendants of the alien demon? They have every reason to be afraid that we will get the inheritance of Qiyu." "What you said makes sense." Qin Haodong's expression also became solemn, "But I don't think these people are alien demon. Their fighting capacity is too poor. It is very likely that they are an organization founded by the alien demon. And the man with the tattoo is probably a human believer that the alien demon recruited." Speaking of this, he thought of Davis of the Wilson Pharmaceutical Company. If even the Wilson Pharmaceutical Company belonged to the organization founded by the alien demon, then they had now accumulated considerable strength. Li Jiumei said, "It's a pity that that person is dead now. Li Debao is a fool. He can't even protect a person. If that person is still alive, it is very likely that he will dig out information about the alien demon." Qin Haodong said, "You don't have to worry too much about this matter. I believe that the captain is also a peripheral member of the alien demon. Even if we catch him, he won't be able to get too much information. Now that we have a direction, we will definitely find more information if we pay attention to the search. But one thing is certain. The alien demon is ready to make trouble. Now the top priority is to develop our own strength." Li Jiumei nodded and said, "You're right. I must make my people stronger as soon as possible." Qin Haodong stayed in the Hmong village for another day and returned to Shanghai the next day. Before leaving, he left a large number of pills to help the people of the Jiuli tribe improve their cultivation. Li Jiumei did not go back with him. She still had a lot of things to do in the Hmong village. The inheritance left by Qiyu was extensive and profound. There were many methods that she needed to find a suitable heir. At the same time, she had not completely absorbed Qiyu's soul. When Qin Haodong returned to Shanghai, Feng Wu was not there. Only Nailan Wushuang stayed at home. "Where's Feng Wu? Where did she go?" Qin Haodong was thinking about the alien demon along the way. When he returned, he wanted to tell Feng Wu about it as soon as possible. Then he asked her to tell the Zihang Sword House so that the subordinate forces of the Zihang Sword House could prepare for the invasion of the alien demon as soon as possible. Nalan Wushuang said, "She left yesterday. She said that she had something to deal with and told you not to call her. You definitely won't be able to contact her these days. What the hell is this girl doing?" Qin Haodong muttered, but he could not find her. He could only wait for Feng Wu to come back. At this moment, his cell phone rang. It was Yagi Yukheim. After the phone was connected, Yagi Yukheim said, "Master, this business exchange meeting is completely over. I will return to Neon with my people tomorrow. Do you have any other orders?" Qin Haodong said, "Wait for me. I'll come to you now." The existence of the alien demon gave him great pressure. Although Yagi Yukheim was a foreigner, she was absolutely loyal to him because of the master-servant contract. In order to improve the combat effectiveness of the entire human clan, he decided to help Yagi Yukheim improve her cultivation first. Yagi Yukheim did not know this. She thought that Qin Haodong just wanted to do something between adults. She said shyly, "Okay, master. I'll wait for you in the room." Chapter 659. Yagi Yukheim hung up the phone with a blush on her cheeks. In fact, the business exchange meeting had ended a few days ago. The reason why she did not leave immediately was that she was looking forward to the day when Qin Haodong would come. After waiting for a few days without any news, she took the initiative to call him today. She did not expect to get such good news immediately. Although she was extremely beautiful, she still sat in front of the mirror and carefully dressed up. After a while, the door opened and Qin Haodong came in from the outside. "Master, you're here." Yagi Yukheim was wearing a kimono and wooden clogs. She respectfully saluted Qin Haodong. Qin Haodong did not say anything. He closed the door, then picked up Yagi Yukheim and walked to the big bed in the room. Yagi Yukheim stretched out her hands and involuntarily hugged his neck. There seemed to be a fire burning in her body. Qin Haodong put her on the bed and reached out to tear off the kimono on his body. He found that it was empty inside. Her graceful figure could be seen at a glance. In an instant, the room was filled with spring. About 2 hours later, the clouds stopped and the rain stopped. Yagi Yukheim's delicate cheeks were flushed with satisfaction and a happy smile. She ran her genuine qi. When she felt her strength, her expression changed and she exclaimed, "Master, how did my cultivation improve so much? Am I already at the 9th level of the Supreme Power Realm?" During the process of dual cultivation just now, she had been enjoying a rare pleasure and did not pay much attention to her own cultivation. Only then did she notice that the surging genuine qi in her body had reached the 9th level of the Supreme Power Realm in just a few hours. It was no wonder that she was so shocked. In the whole Neon, there were not many people who could reach the 9th level of the Supreme Power Realm. Even if there were, they were all great figures. Although dual cultivation was the best way to improve cultivation, the practitioner's cultivation had to be high enough. Half a month ago, Qin Haodong was only at the 3rd level of the Supreme Power Realm. She did not expect that he would reach the highest grade of the Supreme Power Realm so soon. Such a rapid growth rate was simply unheard of. How did he do it? That's right. You are indeed a level 9 Supreme Power Master now. After you go back this time, you have to do one thing. That is to improve the strength of your Yagyu family as soon as possible. It's not enough for you to have a high cultivation alone. You must improve the cultivation of other people as well. Qin Haodong said as he took out a small cloth bag filled with large and small jade bottles. These are the pills I prepared for your Yagyu family. Go back and choose suitable subordinates to help them improve quickly. Thank you, Master. Yagi Yukheim was a very smart woman. She soon realized that something was wrong and asked, "Master, is there anything that we need to do?" Qin Haodong trusted her very much, so he directly told her about the alien demons. Finally, he said, after you go back, you should hurry to improve the strength of the Yagyu family and pay more attention to the movements of the alien demons. If you discover anyone with that special tattoo, inform me immediately. Don't act rashly. Yes, master. Please rest assured that the Yagyu family will definitely follow your lead. Yagyu Yukaim said as she helped Qin Haodong put on his clothes. Go back and get ready now. You must keep the matter of the alien demons a secret. Don't leak it. Also, be more careful. If you encounter any special circumstances, contact me immediately. After that, Qin Haodong walked out of the room first. He left the hotel and drove to the criminal police unit of the East City District. In the reception room of the criminal police unit, a fat middle-aged man was sitting in the main seat. His two small eyes were staring at Nalan Wuxia opposite him, flashing with uncontrollable greed. Feeling the man's gaze, Nalan Wuxia's face flashed with disgust and she said, Director Chu, welcome to our criminal police unit. Do you have any instructions? The fat middle-aged man was Chu Xiongfei, the deputy director of the Shanghai Public Security Bureau. He was also Nalan Wuxia's immediate superior. A fake smile appeared on Chu Xiongfei's face as he said, no instructions. Captain Nalan, you're so young and you're already the captain of the criminal police unit. You're young and promising. Director Chu, you flatter me. I'm just doing my job. It's even more commendable that you're not arrogant or rash. Chu Xiongfei's hypocrisy and lascivious eyes made Nalan Wuxia feel extremely uncomfortable. She said, Director Chu, if you have nothing to do, you can rest here. I still have some cases to deal with. Seeing that Nalan Wuxia was going to leave him here, Chu Xiongfei's expression changed, but he soon recovered his smile. After all, she was the woman he liked. Wuxia, work is endless. Don't tire yourself out. And if you want to make progress, don't just think about how to work. You have to pay in other aspects. He looked at Nalan Wuxia with a sinister smile and said, Do you understand what I'm saying? I don't understand. As a policeman, I just want to do my job well. Seeing that Nalan Wuxia didn't understand, Chu Xiongfei's face slowly became cold and he said, Nalan Wuxia, I'll tell you frankly. I like you. As long as you can meet my requirements, I can help you go further. It's not difficult for you to even become the deputy director. Director Chu, please behave yourself. I have a boyfriend. Nalan Wuxia's face also darkened in an instant. She didn't expect that Chu Xiongfei could say such shameless words so confidently. Don't worry, listen to me slowly. Chu Xiongfei said, I think you also know that I came from the capital. I came to Shanghai to gain some experience and get promoted when I go back. During this period, my wife and I have been living separately. As long as you can accompany me, I won't affect your relationship with your boyfriend, and I can help you go further and give you endless money to spend. Seeing that this guy was still going on, Nalan Wuxia said angrily, Chu Xiongfei, I don't want to be a high-ranking official, nor do I lack money. You'd better put away your dirty thoughts. After being rejected one after another, Chu Xiongfei became completely popular. After so many years, there was no woman he couldn't get. He slapped the table and shouted arrogantly, Nalan Wuxia, don't be so shameless. If you annoy me, even Dong Bicheng can't protect you. Don't forget that I'm from the Chu family in the capital. I know that you come from the Nalan family in Jiangnan, and your family is more or less powerful, but so what? Our Chu family is the top family in the capital and even the whole Huaxia. Your Nalan family can't compare with us. The more this guy spoke, the more arrogant and louder he became. With the Chu family behind him, he had enough confidence. Nalan Wuxia said angrily, Chu Xiongfei, get out of here. No matter how strong the Chu family is, I don't care. Get out. Chu Xiongfei sneered and said, don't forget that I'm the Deputy Director of the Shanghai Public Security Bureau. The entire Shanghai Public Security Bureau is my territory. Once you annoy me, it's you who will get out, not me." Speaking of this, his expression eased a little. "Young man, why are you so stubborn? As long as you agree to my request, I can not only help you to have a meteoric rise in the Shanghai Public Security Bureau, but also help your Nayland family go further. Don't forget, I have the Chu family behind me." Nayland Wuxia was so angry that her eyes were full of fire. She clenched her fists and wanted to rush up and beat this guy up. But she knew that she couldn't do this. Chu Xiongfei was not only her immediate superior, but also the Chu family behind him. Maybe it would bring big trouble to the Nayland family. Chu Xiongfei's face was full of pride. It seemed that his threat was effective. The Chu family was powerful enough to make ordinary people look up to them. Is the Chu family that great? At this moment, the door of the reception room opened and Qin Haodong came in from outside. He patted the woman on the shoulder and said, "Leave it to me. Go back to the office and wait for me." Nayland Wuxia knew Qin Haodong's ability. She didn't say anything and turned to leave the reception room. Seeing that she was about to leave, Chu Xiongfei slapped the table and shouted, "If you dare to leave, you won't be the captain in the future." Before he could finish shouting, he heard a crisp slap. A big slap landed on his face, directly throwing him to the ground. Qin Haodong glanced at Chu Xiongfei and sneered, "Fat pig, you're ugly, but you're dreaming." Chu Xiongfei got up from the ground in a hurry, pointed at Qin Haodong and said angrily, "Boy, who are you?" "Pa," Qin Haodong slapped Chu Xiongfei in the face again and said, "Didn't your mother tell you not to point at people casually? It's very rude." Just now, outside the door, he had heard the conversation between the two clearly. The guy in front of him was a member of the Chu family, and his mother was also from the Chu family. In terms of blood, they might be relatives. But he did not have a good impression of the Chu family. It was the Chu family who wanted to hurt him when he was still a baby. It was the Chu family who made his mother wander outside all these years. Chu Xiongfei got up from the ground again. At this time, he regretted sending away all the people around him in order to talk to Nayland Wuxia. Now he was beaten like a dog, but he could not find anyone to help him. "Boy, let me tell you, I'm the Deputy Director of the Public Security Bureau of Shanghai. You can't afford to offend me. If you beat me, there will be no place for you in Huaxia." He said very tough, but his eyes were full of fear. He no longer dared to raise his finger. Qin Haodong smiled coldly. Although he could not go too far with this guy for his mother's sake, he still had to be punished for daring to hurt his woman. He stepped forward and grabbed Chu Xiongfei. Soon, all his clothes were taken off, not even his underwear was left. Chu Xiongfei was completely panicked and cried in horror, You, what are you doing?" Qin Haodong glanced at him and said disdainfully, "You're just a little toothpick. It's good enough that you're not cuckolded if you stay at home. How dare you fantasize?" Then he took out his mobile phone and began to record Chu Xiongfei. Chapter 660. Seeing that Qin Haodong was going to videotape his naked body, Chu Xiongfei was completely panicked. If this kind of video was spread, it would be terrible. "No, you can't do this." As he shouted, he wanted to raise his hands to protect his key parts and cover his face, but he was horrified to find that his two arms did not listen to him and he had completely lost the ability to move. "Bastard, what the hell did you do to me?" Chu Xiongfei roared angrily. "Don't shout, or others will misunderstand that I'm interested in you," Qin Haodong said as he put away his mobile phone and patted his swollen cheek. "Behave yourself in the future, or I will let everyone in the world see your little toothpick." After that, he picked up the clothes on the ground, walked out of the reception room and threw them all into the trash can. As for how Chu Xiongfei walked out of the reception room naked, it was not his concern. When he came to the captain's office, Nalan Wuxia was standing at the desk with a livid face. Qin Haodong held her in his arms and kissed her gently. "Well, don't be angry. I've punished that fat pig for you." Nalan Wuxia asked, "What did you do to him?" She was also afraid that Qin Haodong would go too far. After all, Chu Xiongfei was her immediate boss. Qin Haodong told her what had happened from beginning to end and said, "How about it? Did you vent your anger? That's really a bad move." Nalan Wuxia giggled for a while and then said, "I did vent my anger, but it's not good for Chu Xiongfei to be locked up here like this. Anyway, this is the crime squad. Who cares? Anyway, it has nothing to do with you." Nalan Wuxia said in surprise, "I'm the captain here. How can it have nothing to do with me? Soon it won't be." Qin Haodong picked up the pen on the desk, pulled a piece of paper, and wrote, "I quit," on it in a flamboyant style. Turning around, he handed the pen in his hand to Nalan Wuxia and said, "This is your resignation letter. Sign it. Resign." "Why should I resign?" Nalan Wuxia glared at him and said, "If I resign, will you support me?" "Of course I'm the one supporting you. Do you expect me to support you?" Qin Haodong said, "I'm going to the capital in a few days. Are you going to be a policeman there? Come with me. Are you telling the truth? Are you really willing to support me for the rest of my life?" Nalan Wuxia's voice trembled a little. Qin Haodong's attitude towards her had always been ambiguous, but today he said that he would support her, which made her feel happy too suddenly. Qin Haodong smiled and said, "Of course it's true. Don't you want to?" "I'm willing. Of course." She grabbed the pen in Qin Haodong's hand and signed her name on the resignation letter. Then she changed her uniform and walked out of the crime squad hand in hand. "Darling, where are we going?" Nalan Wuxia leaned on Qin Haodong's shoulder, her face full of happiness. "Today is our big day, of course we have to go to a good place." Qin Haodong opened the door and let Nalan Wuxia get in the car. Then he drove to the seaside. He had to do the most important thing with Nalan Wuxia today, so it was not appropriate for him to go home. So he called Ma Wenjue on the way and asked him to prepare a house for him. Ma Wenjue had prepared the most beautiful seascape villa for him through some connections. It faced the sea with beautiful scenery and was far away from the hustle and bustle of the city. It was indeed a good place to meet lovers. They walked into the villa. The decoration inside was very chic, luxurious, warm and romantic. In the living room, there was a heart-to-heart pattern made of red roses, and the big bed in the bedroom was covered with beautiful rose petals. On the terrace of the villa, there was a delicate table full of sumptuous Western-style dishes and a bottle of red wine next to it. Sitting here and enjoying the delicious meal, they could not only enjoy the moist and cool sea breeze, but also see the unique seascape. Qin Haodong secretly nodded in his heart. Although Ma Wenjue was single, he was good at being romantic. He did not know that Ma Wenjue had recently read a lot of strategies to flirt with girls on the internet in order to get rid of being single as soon as possible. The decoration of the room was something he had just learned, and he wanted to test it on Qin Haodong. "You haven't eaten yet, have you? Let's eat a little." Qin Haodong took Nalan Wuxia to sit at the table, picked up the wine bottle, and poured a glass of wine for both of them. Nalan Wuxia obviously enjoyed the atmosphere, and her face was full of happiness. After taking a sip of red wine, she asked, "Haodong, where have you been these days? Why didn't you come to see me?" They chatted while eating. Qin Haodong told her about his recent experiences in Hong Kong and Hmong Village. Of course, he automatically omitted some of the situations with other women. Although Nalan Wuxia was very clear about some things, it was one thing to know, and another to say it out. After hearing the ancient secrets told by her roommate, Nalan Wuxia opened her mouth wide in surprise. "I didn't expect that there would be terrible alien demons here." Qin Haodong said, "This world is far from being as peaceful as it looks. It's full of danger at any time, so I want to help you improve your cultivation as soon as possible. As he spoke, he told her about the dual cultivation enlightenment. Nalan Wuxia's cheeks blushed. She did not expect Qin Haodong to have such a wonderful method. You're a bad guy. How could you think of such a way to take advantage of a girl? Qin Haodong said, it's not taking advantage of me. It must be true love. If two people can't completely trust each other and open their hearts to each other, they can't complete the double cultivation enlightenment. Nalan Wuxia lowered her head and said shyly, I can do it. I'm willing to do anything for you. Looking at the beautiful woman in front of him, Qin Haodong could no longer control himself. He stood up and set up the defense restriction in the room. Then, he picked up Nalan Wuxia and walked to the big bed covered with rose petals. Soon, the two of them were able to see each other with their naked eyes. Nalan Wuxia, who used to be valiant and heroic, was extremely shy at the moment. Not only her cheeks were like ripe apples, but even her white and tender skin was shining with a pink halo, looking extremely attractive. Wuxia, are you ready? I'm coming. Qin Haodong whispered in her ear. Wait a minute. Nalan Wuxia pushed his shoulder and whispered, today is my first time as a woman. I don't want to mix too many things. I want to leave a pure memory. Qin Haodong asked doubtfully, what do you mean? It's your double cultivation enlightenment method. We can use it later. Now we're just, speaking of this, she was so shy that her voice was almost inaudible. How could Qin Haodong not understand? He smiled and said, you're right. Let's do something pure. With a low moan, the two of them became one. Nalan Wuxia also completed the most important transformation in a woman's life. After a long time, Qin Haodong completed the last blow. The two of them hugged each other tightly, enjoying the warmth after sex. But at this moment, there was a cracking sound in Nalan Wuxia's body. Then, the genuine qi in her dantian instantly became extremely violent like boiling magma, rushing to her limbs like a monstrous flood. What's going on? Haodong, didn't you say that you don't need to use enlightenment method for the time being? Nalan Wuxia thought that Qin Haodong was helping her improve her cultivation. No, I didn't do it. Qin Haodong also noticed the changes in Nalan Wuxia's body. He quickly withdrew and then glanced at her with his spirit. At this moment, the genuine qi in by Wuxia's body became violent, like a wild horse out of control. When he glanced at her dantian, he finally found the source. He saw a small black ball floating in Nalan Wuxia's dantian. This thing looked like a golden elixir, but it was not. The small black ball kept rotating, releasing wisps of black qi. When the black qi came out, it immediately turned into violent genuine qi, occupying the entire dantian. When he saw the small ball clearly, Qin Haodong's pupils suddenly shrank. Is this the demonic seed? When he was in the cultivation world, he had come into contact with a demonic skill called the demonic seed method. There were some cultivators who practiced demonic arts who were unwilling to die when their lives came to an end. However, their primordial spirits were not strong enough to possess someone else, so they compressed their cultivation base and divine sense into a demonic seed and secretly planted it in the body of the cauldron of their choice. The demonic seed was well hidden in the stove and was generally difficult to be discovered. When it was ripe, the demonic seed would quickly grow and be reborn in the stove. Not only could it raise the stove's cultivation to the previous level of the demonic seed, but it could also complete the possession. It could be said that this was another form of possession. In comparison, it took a longer time, usually years or even decades. However, the effect was better than a direct possession. Not only could one occupy a new body, but they could also bring back their cultivation from when they were alive. After observing again, Qin Haodong confirmed that the black ball in Nalan Wuxia's body was the demonic seed. Someone had used the demonic seed method on her. After understanding it, his expression immediately changed. He took out the silver needles from his pocket and quickly pierced them into Nalan Wuxia's mud pill palace, the Baihui acupoint on the top of her head, the Fengqi acupoint on both sides, and the temple. In the blink of an eye, 7 silver needles were pierced out. 7 needles soul fixation skill. Qin Haodong quickly locked on to Nalan Wuxia's divine treasure. This was the best way to prevent the demonic seed from possessing her. As long as it was hidden, the spirit in the demonic seed could not complete the possession. At this moment, Nalan Wuxia's momentum suddenly skyrocketed and became stronger and stronger. The cultivation in her body broke through the bottleneck one after another under the continuous release of the demonic seed's genuine essence. In the blink of an eye, she broke through to the first level of the Supreme Power Realm. Then she reached the second level of the Supreme Power Realm, the third level of the Supreme Power Realm, the fifth level of the Supreme Power Realm. In less than half an hour, she had reached the 9th level of the Supreme Power Realm. Chapter 661. With the continuous improvement of her cultivation, Nalan Wuxia's white body was slowly covered with black qi. When her cultivation reached the 9th level of the Supreme Power Realm, the black qi had already covered her whole body and rushed to the top of her head. At this time, Nalan Wuxia was in great pain. She cried with a twisted face, "Haodong, help me. Wuxia, don't be afraid. I'm here. You'll be fine." Qin Haodong put on his clothes in a hurry, but he was not in a hurry to help. Although it was a little painful now, the seed magic method was good for improving Nalan Wuxia's cultivation. At this time, the layer of black qi covered the top of Nalan Wuxia's head and then rushed to her divine treasure. However, it was blocked by the silver needles several times in a row. "Boy, did you stab these silver needles in?" Nalan Wuxia opened her mouth and roared, but it was not her voice. Her voice was sharp and hoarse, with a hint of evil, which made people feel creepy when they heard it. Qin Haodong knew that this was the hidden person in the seed magic method. He said, "Yes, it was me. Hurry up and pull out the silver needles on her head. I'm helping your woman improve her cultivation. If you miss this opportunity, it will be too late for you to regret it." Qin Haodong sneered and said, "It's okay to improve her cultivation, but why did you enter her divine treasure?" "I want to help her advance to the Saint Realm, so I naturally have to occupy the divine treasure. You won't understand it even if I tell you. You just need to pull out the silver needles." As if afraid that Qin Haodong did not believe it, the voice continued, "I just think that your woman has a good aptitude, so I want to leave all my inheritance to her. After I help her advance to the Saint Realm, I will disappear without causing any harm to her." "You sound like Lei Feng. Do you think I'm a fool?" Qin Haodong sneered and said, "The seed magic method is for possession. After you help her improve her cultivation, you will occupy this body. How can you be willing to leave?" The man was stunned. "Boy, you know the seed magic method?" Qin Haodong said, "I know a little." Seeing that her lie had been seen through, the woman shouted angrily, "Quickly pull out the silver needles and let me take over her body. That way, at least her body can survive. Otherwise, if you anger me, I'll make her explode and die." "You won't get anything then. Explode and die. Do you have that ability?" As the primordial spirit of the devil seed, the most you can do is stop the devil seed from transferring essence qi. You cannot do anything else. Even if you have the ability, do you dare to do it? If she dies, you will completely disappear into thin air. You won't even have the chance to reincarnate." Seeing that she couldn't scare Qin Haodong, the woman said, "Boy, as long as you let me occupy this body, I'll be yours in the future. I'll do whatever you want me to do. I promise I'll be obedient. Moreover, I can raise the cultivation of this body to the Saint Realm. At that time, you'll have a Saint Realm woman, and you'll be able to do whatever you want wherever you go. Not only will you not suffer any losses, but you'll also benefit greatly. Isn't that great?" Qin Haodong sneered and said, she's my woman. How can an old monster like you replace her? Seeing that Qin Haodong was not moved by force or persuasion, the woman roared wildly again, "Boy, don't think that you can defeat me just like that. If you have the ability, you can put the 7 needles in her head forever. As long as you pull them out, I will immediately occupy this body. If it were before, I really couldn't do anything about it. But now it's different. It's your destiny. Go to hell." Qin Haodong said as he stretched out his hand, and a fiery red herb appeared in his palm. It was the soul-refining grass he got from the herb garden. The soul-refining grass was a herb often used by evil cultivators in the cultivation world. This herb would be crushed into powder and sprinkled on the body of the target, which would burn the 3 souls and 7 spirits of the target. Eventually, the target would be turned into a walking corpse, which would be used to refine a corpse puppet. Qin Haodong had thought that he wouldn't need this thing, but he had collected all the other herbs, so he put it in the storage ring. He didn't expect that it would come in handy now. He had locked Nalan Wuxia's 3 souls and 7 spirits in the divine treasure, so she would not be hurt by the soul-refining grass. But the soul in the demonic seed would not work. It was definitely a fatal weapon for her. Because of this, when the man saw the soul-refining grass, he was shocked and immediately begged, "Please, don't kill me. Don't kill me. As long as you let me go this time, I can give you a lot of treasures in my previous life. You can live a good life. No need. No amount of money can exchange for the woman I love." Qin Haodong said as he picked a few leaves from the soul-refining grass. These leaves were enough to deal with one person. "Boy, do you know who I am? I'm the previous leader of the Dark Gate. If you dare to do anything to me, the whole Dark Gate will become your enemy. At that time, there will be no place for you in the whole world." Seeing that the temptation had failed, the man began to threaten Qin Haodong and directly told him his identity. The previous leader of the Dark Gate. Qin Haodong was slightly stunned after hearing this. No wonder he was able to use this kind of demonic skill. It turned out that he was the previous leader of the Dark Gate. Seeing Qin Haodong stunned, the man thought that he was afraid. He shouted again, "Boy, are you afraid? As long as you pull out the silver needles now, I can let bygones be bygones. Otherwise, you will be the enemy of the whole Dark Gate. You think too much. I just killed the 4 King Kongs of the Dark Gate. I don't need a dead leader like you." After Qin Haodong said that, he rubbed his hands. The leaves of the soul-refining grass in his palms turned into countless powder and sprinkled it on Nalan Wuxia's body. It was strange that when the powder touched Nalan Wuxia's skin, it quickly disappeared like water dripping on a sponge. Ah! After being stained with the powder of the soul-refining grass, the soul in Nalan Wuxia's body let out a heart-wrenching scream. It was really like a ghost wailing and a wolf howling. Qin Haodong breathed a sigh of relief. It seemed that the soul-refining grass was really effective. Otherwise, he really had no way to get rid of the old ghost who was ready to possess him at any time. "Boy, how dare you!" With a roar, a huge pressure came from outside. This kind of pressure was unprecedented, far beyond that of a 9th-level Supreme Power Master. It almost made him feel suffocated, and the genuine qi in his body seemed to stop running. He was shocked. This was a saint. This villa with a sea view of the sea had floor-to-ceiling windows made of fiberglass. Under this huge pressure, they quickly shattered into powder, and then the overwhelming momentum pressed over like a landslide and a tsunami. Qin Haodong quickly pulled a bed sheet and covered Nalan Wuxia. He ran the genuine qi in his body frantically and stood in front of her to protect her. "Boy, go to hell." With a very dignified roar, a sword qi, like lightning cutting through the sky, instantly came in front of Qin Haodong. Although he had reached the realm of supreme power and was the strongest 9th-level Supreme Power Master, he was still as helpless as a child in the face of a saint. If he dodged, he would have a chance to survive. Unfortunately, Nalan Wuxia was behind him. In any case, he could not dodge. Qin Haodong gritted his teeth and ran the green with genuine qi in his body to the extreme. He barely raised the Xian Yuan sword in his hand. However, he clearly felt that even if he slashed out with his sword, he could not resist this sharp sword qi. After all, a saint was a saint. Even the strongest supreme power master could not resist it. Right at this moment, a chilly voice that was filled with rage resounded. "Who dares to hurt my little brother?" Then the melodious sound of the zither sounded, and the sound turned into countless spears, shooting at the sword qi. The spears formed by the sound of the zither were a little weaker than the sword qi. The first spear immediately dissipated in the air after colliding with the sword qi. However, there were many spears, one after another. Finally, when the sword qi shot in front of Qin Haodong, it disappeared into thin air. Qin Haodong breathed a sigh of relief. He put away the Xian Yuan sword and looked out of the window. There was a white-haired old woman standing on the left side of the window. Her momentum was extremely strong. She was a saint. There were 6 people standing behind the old woman, all of whom were experts at the 9th level of the Supreme Power Realm. Opposite them, there were 3 people standing on the right side of the window. The leader was Jia Shihan, who had left not long ago. Behind her stood 2 middle-aged women who seemed to be in their 30s or 40s. They were the elders of the Yinsha sect, Yu Lingyun and Yu Bingyun. The white-haired old woman was holding a walking stick in her hand. She glanced at Jia Shihan and laughed. Her voice was extremely unpleasant to hear. "Little girl, you are the newly promoted saint of the Yinsha sect, right? Let me tell you, although we are both saints, there is still a gap in cultivation. You can't stop me. I must kill that boy today." She looked at Qin Haodong coldly and said, "Little guy, I really don't know who gave you the courage to kill the 4 great heavenly kings of our Devil Gate. Now you have destroyed the devil seed of our Devil Gate. You must die today." The white-haired old woman was the leader of the Devil Gate, Yao Li. Behind her were the 6 great elders. It was no wonder that the leader of the Devil Gate had personally come out. Recently, the Devil Gate had suffered heavy losses. The leader of the Hehuan sect, Madam of Bones and Red-Eyebrowed Monster, had been seriously injured because they had used the blood-drawing skill. The leader of the Maihun sect, Xiao Luochen, was seriously injured. The 1,000-armed man and the 100-face evil king were both injured and disabled. The 4 great heavenly kings were all killed. The Devil Gate had been fighting with the Zihang Sword House for so many years. It was the first time that they had suffered such a big loss, and it was even one-sided. The Zihang Sword House was unscathed, and all of this was thanks to the young man in front of him. Thinking of this, Yao Li's eyes released a monstrous killing intent. This kind of killing intent made Qin Haodong breathless and he had the urge to vomit blood at any time. Clang! 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 Jia Shihan quickly played the 7-stringed guqin in her hand, and the notes helped Qin Haodong resolve the pressure in front of him. Yao Li chuckled, revealing his incomplete teeth. "Little girl, you can't stop me." Jia Shihan suddenly felt the pressure increase. She had just advanced to the Saint realm not long ago and was still far from being able to fight against Yao Li. At this moment, another clear voice sounded, "Yao Li, you are really getting more and more useless. You only know how to bully the younger generation." Chapter 662. After hearing the shout, Yao Li's expression changed greatly. He looked in the direction of the voice and saw a white figure flashing over, followed by 9 other figures. The leader was a woman in white. She wore a white dress, had long hair, and carried a sword on her back. There was a majestic look on her delicate face. She was walking in the air, as if she was a saint. The 9 people behind her were also at the 9th level of the Supreme Power Realm, and one of them was Feng Wu. She was Xianyuan Ligei, the current sword master of the Zihang Sword House, and the other 8 people were the 8 elders of the Zihang Sword House. Xianyuan Ligay, I didn't expect you to come. Yao Li's expression was extremely solemn. The Devil Gate and the Zihang Sword House had been fighting for so many years, but they had never been so passive like now. The other side had 2 Saint-level experts and 11 9th-level Supreme Power Masters. Such a powerful force was enough to crush them. But at this time, there was no way to retreat. With her cultivation, of course, she could retreat unscathed, but the 6 elders behind her would definitely not be able to escape from Xianyuan Ligay's sword, and there was another saint, Jia Shihan. She came to Shanghai this time for the demonic seed in Nalan Wuxia's body. According to her calculation, it was time for the demonic seed to hatch. There was another new saint on the Zihang Sword House's side, which put a lot of pressure on them. If the demonic seed could be reborn, the Devil Gate would also have 2 saints, which would be enough to compete with the Zihang Sword House. That was why she rushed over with the 6 elders to protect them. The mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind. The Zihang Sword House actually used this opportunity to set up a huge trap for them. If the demonic seed could hatch successfully, it would be a worthwhile trip. But Qin Haodong had used 7 needles to stop the demonic seed from being reborn and used the soul-refining grass to destroy the primordial spirit of the previous Yao Li. This was completely unexpected. Xianyuan Ligay said, Yao Li, we have been fighting for so many years. It's time to end it today. Yao Li shouted sternly, Xianyuan Ligay, do you really want to fight to the death? Even if you have the upper hand today, if you really want to fight, you will have to pay a heavy price. It's the duty of the Zihang Sword House to eliminate the demons and defend the Tao. As long as we can kill you, we don't mind sacrificing a few lives. Xianyuan Ligay said to the people behind her, Elders, it's time to kill the demons. Follow the Sword Master to slay demons and devils. Jia Shihan, Feng Wu, and the other elders shouted and pulled out the swords in their hands one after another. For a moment, the sword aura filled the air and was breathtaking. There was a flash of despair in Yao Li's eyes. The difference in strength was so great that the result of the fight could be imagined. However, she still shouted fiercely, Elders, even if we die, we have to capture some people from the Zihang Sword House to die with us. Xianyuan Ligay looked serious. She raised her hand and pulled out the sword behind her. A life-and-death battle was about to break out. At this moment, someone shouted, Wait a minute. Everyone turned around and found that it was Qin Haodong who spoke. Xianyuan Ligay did not say anything. She said, Haodong, if you have anything to say, wait until we kill these evildoers of the Devil Gate. Qin Haodong said, We can't kill these people. Let them go. After he said that, the expressions of the others suddenly changed. Not only were the people of the Zihang Sword House shocked, but even the people of the Devil Gate were puzzled. Logically speaking, Yao Li was about to kill him just now. He should have taken the opportunity to take revenge. How could he let these people go? Xianyuan Ligay kept a straight face and did not say anything. She knew that the young man in front of her was the sacred master of the Zihang Sword House. The reason why she did not come to greet him immediately was that she was afraid that Qin Haodong's identity would be revealed and the experts of the Devil Gate would hunt him down. According to the rules of the Zihang Sword House, the sacred master was the master of the house. They had to obey all the orders of the sacred master unconditionally, so she remained silent. Feng Wu said anxiously, Haodong, what do you mean? Do you know how much time and manpower it took us to set up this trap? After so many years, we finally found an opportunity to severely injure the Devil Gate. How can we let them go? She really felt that this opportunity was too rare. Even if she couldn't kill Jiangli today, she could definitely seriously injure him. As for the other 6 9th-level Supreme Power Realm Elders, none of them could leave. They all had to stay here. In fact, it's not necessary at all. We've been fighting for so many years, and it's all a mistake. Qin Haodong knew that today was the best time to tell the truth, so he briefly told them how he entered the forbidden area of the Jiuli tribe and got the truth about the ancient war, under the surprised eyes of many people. Finally, he said, in fact, Qiyu was not killed by the Yellow Emperor at all, but by the alien demon. And now the remnants of the alien demon are still on Earth, waiting for an opportunity to tear open a space hole again and lead their clansmen to Earth, completely exterminating our human race. Now we no longer have ancient mighty figures like the Yellow Emperor and Qiyu. If the space hole is opened, only extinction awaits us. So what we have to do is to unite, improve our strength as much as possible, and completely eliminate the remnants of the alien demon. After he finished speaking, everyone showed a look of horror, including Xianyuan Ligay, who had always been calm. Her face was also filled with horror. Qin Haodong continued, so it's a mistake for the Zihang Sword House to fight with the Devil Gate for so many years. This is all a trap left by the alien demon emperor. We have a common enemy, which is the alien demon, so there's no need to fight anymore. Yao Li was shocked. The Devil Gate had fought with the descendants of the Yellow Emperor for so many years. Could it be that it was all a mistake and they were all used by others? She couldn't accept it for a while. She said, "Boy, why should we believe you?" Qin Haodong said, "I'm not a soft-hearted person. I did kill your 4 heavenly kings, but that was before I knew the news. If it weren't for the alien demon and if it weren't for the sake of preserving the combat power of the human race, do you think I would have asked the Sword Master to let you go? The reason why I let you leave is that we are all strong. In order to preserve the strength of the human race against the alien demon, we shouldn't kill each other." Yao Li lowered her head and said nothing. It was indeed as Qin Haodong had said. Now that Zihang Sword House had the absolute advantage, so there was no need to lie to her. Qin Haodong added, "I've found the whereabouts of the alien demon, which means that it's not far from the day they take action. I hope that you can focus on the overall situation and don't kill each other in a short time." Yao Li turned to look at Xianyuan Ligay and asked, "What do you think?" She did not know Qin Haodong's identity as the Sacred Master. In her opinion, the final decision was still in Xianyuan Ligay's hands. Xianyuan Ligay nodded and said, "I believe it's true. In order to maintain the strength of our human race, you can leave." If this was said by someone else, she might have listened to it as a story. But now it was the Sacred Master of the Zihang Sword House who was telling all this, so she had to be cautious. Yao Li was shocked. "Are you sure you want me to leave? This is a rare opportunity for your Zihang Sword House." Xianyuan Ligay said, "I've already said that this is just a misunderstanding. We've been fighting for thousands of years. Now it's time to rest." Yao Li said, "Do you really believe this little brother's words?" Unconsciously, the way she addressed Qin Haodong had also changed. "I believe him." "Well, since you choose to believe this little brother, I believe him too." Yao Li said, "On behalf of the Devil Gate, I swear to God that I will not take the initiative to attack the Zihang Sword House within 10 years. As for 10 years later, let's see if what he said is true. If the alien demon really appears, then what he said is true. If everything is calm, then what he said is false. Our Devil Gate will continue to avenge our ancestor, Qiyu." After that, she turned around and left with the 6 elders behind her. Scholar Ligay of the Zihang Sword House greets the Sacred Master. Elder Shijian of the Zihang Sword House greets the Sacred Master. Elder Jianxin of the Zihang Sword House greets the Sacred Master. After the people of the Devil Gate left, under the leadership of Xianyuan Ligay, a group of people from the Zihang Sword House greeted Qin Haodong together. Qin Haodong was slightly stunned. He waved his hand and said, "Sword Master, we don't have to be so polite." He turned around and came to Nalan Wuxia's side. At this time, the primordial spirit in the demonic seed had been completely burned by the soul-eating grass. Without the control of the primordial spirit, the demonic seed in her dantian had also stopped. But at this time, it had become a white bead, which was condensed from pure internal energy. Nalan Wuxia's cultivation stayed at the peak of level 9. At this time, she was already in a coma. Qin Haodong knew that she had improved so much in succession and had consumed too much of her mind. He felt her pulse and made sure that there was no problem, so he did not wake her up. Feng Wu said, "Haodong, what you just said is true. Is there really an alien demon?" Xianyuan Ligay scolded, "Feng Wu, how can you talk to the sacred master like that?" Master, I know I'm wrong." Feng Wu quickly said. She was used to being with Qin Haodong, but now she realized that her master was by her side. Qin Haodong said, "Sword Master, there's no need to be so formal. There's no need to call me Sacred Master. Just call me Little Qin." Xianyuan Ligay hurriedly said respectfully, "Sacred Master, I don't dare." Qin Haodong shook his head secretly. He really didn't understand how there could be such a conservative person in the current society. It seemed that he had to hurry up and spread the Xianyuan skill in the future and find a man to marry these old fogies. He said, "How did you get here today?" Xianyuan Ligay said, "Ever since you were besieged in Hong Kong, our Zihang Sword House has stepped up the monitoring of the people of the Devil Gate. We found that their other elders had come to Shanghai, and there were even signs that they were going to leave. So I brought people here to protect you." Qin Haodong said, "Well, it's all in the past. Don't take the initiative to conflict with them in the future." "Yes, Sacred Master." Xianyuan Ligay said, "Sacred Master, what should the Zihang Sword House do next? Please tell us." Chapter 663. Since these stubborn people believed that he was the Sacred Master, Qin Haodong had no choice but to say, "Seize all the time to improve your strength and closely collect information about the alien demon. This is the most important thing for the Zihang Sword House in the future." "Yes, Sacred Master." Xianyuan Ligay led the people of the Zihang Sword House and answered in unison. Qin Haodong took out a small jade bottle from his pocket and handed it to Xianyuan Ligay. "This is the spiritual qi pill I refined. It can help you improve your current cultivation." Xianyuan Ligay was overjoyed. At her level of cultivation, it was extremely difficult to make further progress. There were very few pills in the world that could help a saint improve his cultivation. Because of this, she had been fighting with Yao Li all these years and no one could surpass the other. If these pills could help her improve her cultivation and break through the early stage of the Saint Realm, then even if the Devil Gate made any moves in the future, she could easily destroy them. "Thank you for the pills, Sacred Master." After bowing, she respectfully took the small jade bottle. The other members of the sword school gazed at the small jade bottle with a wisp of envy in their eyes. When one's cultivations had attained such a realm, every single small step forward had to be paid an extremely great price, so being able to find a suitable medicinal pill would undoubtedly allow them to achieve twice the results with half the effort. But there was almost no pill in this world that could help a level 9 Supreme Power Master break through to the Saint Realm. But to their surprise, Qin Haodong turned around and took out another bag of pills and handed it to Feng Wu. "This is the Saint Pill I recently refined. It can help a level 9 Supreme Power Master quickly break through the bottleneck and reach the Saint Realm. One for each person. Help me distribute it to everyone." After hearing what he said, everyone was stunned. An elixir that could help a 9th level Supreme Power Master break through to the Saint Realm was definitely a rare treasure in this world. Any one of them could set off a bloody storm in Jianghu. It was very difficult for a level 9 Supreme Power Master to become a saint. It could be seen from the rare number of saints in the world. However, Qin Haodong had taken out so many of these extremely precious elixirs so casually. Only the Sacred Lord could be so generous. Under many amazed gazes, Feng Wu began to distribute the pills. "Brother," Jia Shihan came to Qin Haodong's side. She seemed to be a little shy and her red cheeks looked exceptionally cute. "Shihan, thank you for helping me just now." Qin Haodong also had a good impression of this innocent little girl. He took out a bag of elixirs and secretly stuffed it into her hand. There were all kinds of elixirs, such as spirit culturing elixir, energy gathering elixir, and healing elixirs. Take this. When you go back, distribute it to the people in your sect. Now that you are also the sect leader, remember that carrots and sticks are the way of the king. Little brother, it's my duty to help you. I can't take anything from you. Silly girl, this is brother's gift to you. It has nothing to do with helping or not. Hurry up and take it. Qin Haodong said as he stuffed the bag in his hand into Jia Shihan's hand. Feeling the warmth of Qin Haodong's palm, Jia Shihan became more and more shy and no longer refused. Little brother, I still want to live with you. I've missed you so much. In just a few words, Jia Shihan seemed to have exhausted all her strength. After she finished speaking, she lowered her head until her chin touched her chest. Although she had become the sect leader of the Yinsha sect during this period of time, she was actually not happy. She often thought of the days when she was with Qin Haodong. Qin Haodong said, "You stay in the sect for a while. When we wipe out the alien demons, I'll make a paradise and we can all go there happily." Little brother, is what you said true? You're not lying to me, are you? Of course it's true. Why would I lie to you? At this time, Fengwu had already distributed the elixirs. The elders of the Zihang Sword House were holding the saint elixirs in their hands. They were very excited and looked at Qin Haodong with gratitude and admiration. Shenyuan Legay said, "Since it's over, let's hurry up and go back to cultivate." Qin Haodong took out another bag of elixirs and handed it to her. He said, "Go back and take it to the other disciples in the sect to improve their strength as soon as possible." Shenyuan Legay nodded and left with the elders of the Yinsha sect. Fengwu did not leave and stayed by his side. Jia Shihan waved her hand at Qin Haodong and reluctantly left with the others. After saying goodbye to everyone, Qin Haodong turned around to check on Nalan Wuxia's situation. He carefully scanned her from head to toe with his spirit and made sure that the soul left in the demonic seed had been completely killed by the soul refining pill. Then he took out the 7 needles on her head. At this time, Nalan Wuxia's cultivation had advanced to the 9th level of the Supreme Power Realm, and there was a crystal-clear jade bead in her dantian. This was left behind after the demonic seed had removed the soul. It was the pure essence of the previous generation Yaoli, without any impurities. As long as Nalan Wuxia could absorb all the essence, she would immediately be able to become a saint. Originally, Qin Haodong could wait for Nalan Wuxia to complete the breakthrough of the saint realm before killing the soul in the demonic seed. But if she broke through too quickly, it would cause her foundation to be unstable and leave hidden dangers for her further improvement in the future. Therefore, Qin Haodong chose to stop at the 9th level of the Supreme Power Realm. He wanted to accumulate here for a period of time, solidify his foundation, and then make a breakthrough. Only in this way could he go further. After the silver needles were taken out, Nalan Wuxia slowly opened her eyes. When she saw Qin Haodong, she said, "What happened to me just now? How did I suddenly become like this?" Qin Haodong told her about the demonic seed and then said, "The demonic seed was secretly planted in you by the people of the devil cult 10 years ago. It just hatched suddenly. If I hadn't been around, the consequences would have been serious. You would have been possessed by the soul in the demonic seed and become another person. You're lucky. I happened to get a soul refining grass a few days ago. Otherwise, it would have been really difficult to get rid of the soul in your body." "That's terrible." Nalan Wuxia was so scared that she broke out in a cold sweat. If her body was taken away, it would be no different from being dead. She thought for a moment and said, "Now that you mention it, I suddenly remembered that 10 years ago, I suddenly had a fever for 3 days and 3 nights in a row, but I couldn't find any reason. It must have been the demonic seed that was planted in me at that time. Fortunately, Haodong is here. Sister Nalan got a blessing in disguise. Only then did Nalan Wuxia notice Feng Wu next to her. Realizing her current state, she quickly wrapped the bed sheet tightly and said shyly, "Sister Feng Wu, you're here too. We'll be a family in the future. There's no need to be shy." Qin Haodong teased Nalan Wuxia and then said, "Feng Wu is right. You really got a blessing in disguise this time. The demonic seed has helped you improve your cultivation to the 9th level of the Supreme Power Realm. Stabilize it for a period of time, and then absorb the remaining essence. Then, you can enter the threshold of the Saint Realm." After explaining the situation, Nalan Wuxia said shyly, "Can you go out first?" Although she had now become a couple with Qin Haodong, it was not good for her to change her clothes in front of two outsiders. "Isn't it just changing clothes? We're not outsiders." While Qin Haodong was talking, he saw that Nalan Wuxia was about to explode. He quickly said, "Can't we turn around?" After that, he and Feng Wu turned around and saw that the sea view room had become dilapidated. He could not help shaking his head, took out his mobile phone and dialed Ma Wenjua's number. "How is it, boss? Did I arrange it well for you? How is the effect? If it's possible, I'll follow this path in the future. I'll find a girl as soon as possible so that I can get rid of being single." Qin Haodong said awkwardly, "The house is not bad, but there was an accident. Come and have a look." Ma Wenjua said, "What's wrong? You didn't bring a married woman there, did you? Don't tell me her husband is here to fight. Do you want me to bring more brothers over to support you?" Qin Haodong said with annoyance, "Don't talk nonsense. You'll know when you come here." At this time, he did not want Ma Wenjua to come over. He did not know whether he had borrowed or rented this sea view villa. He had to give Ma Wenjua an explanation. Ma Wenjua was really fast. It didn't take him long to appear in the room. Looking at the dilapidated sea view room in front of him, he was shocked. "Boss, you're too fierce, aren't you? Isn't it just rolling in the sheets? Why did you roll the windows? Are you all right?" Hearing his words, Nalan Wuxia, who had just put on her clothes, became even more shy. Her cheeks were so red that it seemed that blood was about to drip out. She wanted to find a hole to hide in. "What nonsense are you talking about? There was an accident just now." Qin Haodong raised his hand and hit Ma Wenjua's head. "Whose house is this? Hurry up and fix it, and then pay some money. If it doesn't work, I'll go and apologize to them." Ma Wenjua said with a smile, "There's no need to apologize. In fact, this house is yours. I won't feel bad even if it is demolished." "Mine?" Qin Haodong said in surprise, "When did such a sea view house appear? Why didn't I know about it?" Ma Wenjua said, "You still don't know your status in Shanghai. Many people are trying to curry favor with you. This is a gift from a second-class family. They couldn't find you, so they sent it to me. You've been appearing and disappearing every day, and I couldn't find you, so I put it in my hands for the time being. Now that you're back, the house is returned to its original owner. You can do whatever you want with it. Don't talk nonsense. Hurry up and find someone to fix the house, and then call all the people of Daddy Security Company back. I have something to say." After Qin Haodong said that, he let Feng Wu and Nalan Wuxia go back to his home first. At this point, the Nalan sisters had something to talk about. It was not convenient for him to stay at home. After the two left, he and Ma Wenjua went to Daddy Security Company together. At this time, all the members of the company had gathered at the training ground. Qin Haodong said, "How's everyone's cultivation recently?" "That's pretty good." Speaking of cultivation, Ma Wenjua said excitedly, "Now half of the people in our company have reached the Supreme Power Realm, and the rest are also at the 9th level of covert power. They are only one step away from the Supreme Power Realm." Chapter 664. Ma Wenzhua became more and more excited as he spoke. He was no longer a layman who had just entered the martial arts world. He was very familiar with the situation of the martial arts world and knew how difficult it was for a martial artist to become a supreme power master. Some people could not even touch this threshold in their entire lives. In contrast, it was a miracle that they could make such a big improvement in such a short period of time. Of course, he also knew that all this was due to Qin Haodong. Without good cultivation methods and elixirs, there would be no daddy security company today. In particular, the enhanced version of the elixir refined some time ago was like an elixir of immortality. Otherwise, these people would not have made such rapid progress. Boss, do you know what level I'm at now? I'm a level 6 Supreme Power Master now. He had a complacent expression on his face. This level of improvement was absolutely shocking. This time, boss should at least praise him a little. Qin Haodong glanced at him with a faint smile. Do you think being a level 6 Supreme Power Master is amazing? Of course it's amazing. The most important thing is that we're making rapid progress. Seeing Ma Wenzhua's complacent face, Qin Haodong patted him on the shoulder and said, Tell me, which one of the people around me can you beat? Ma Wenzhua was a little dumbfounded. Nalan Wushuang had come to the Daddy Security Company a few days after Qin Haodong went to the Hmong village. At that time, he wanted to show off his cultivation, but he did not expect to be defeated in one move. It turned out that Qin Haodong was already a level 9 Supreme Power Master. He thought about the women around Qin Haodong one by one. It seemed that he could not beat any of them. Qin Haodong said jokingly, I can give you an answer. The only person in our family that you can beat is Tang Tang. Ma Wenzhua was speechless again. Since when did he, the Kailan holy body, become so weak that he could only bully children? Well, although you've made great progress, you're still far behind. Our enemies are very powerful, so you have to hurry up and improve. Qin Haodong then said to Ma Wenzhua, especially you have to hurry up and cultivate. Otherwise, if Tang Tang catches up with you one day, you'll really lose face. Boss. Ma Wenzhua's face was full of grief and indignation. Qin Haodong took out the elixirs he had prepared in advance and said, Give these elixirs to everyone. Take them now and practice hard. I happen to have time today. I'll give you some advice here. Hearing that the boss wanted to help them improve their cultivation, the employees of Daddy Security Company were very excited. After receiving the pills, they sat cross-legged on the training ground and began to cultivate and break through. Qin Haodong was patrolling the crowd with his hands behind his back. When someone was at the critical point of breaking through, he would go up and give them a slap or a kick to help them break through the bottleneck. These elixirs refined with 5,000-year-old medicinal materials were much more powerful than the previous ones. Towards evening, all the members of the Daddy Security Company had completed their breakthroughs. The worst among them was at the first level of the Supreme Power Realm, and the outstanding ones had already reached the 4th level of the Supreme Power Realm. Ma Wenzhua had also advanced to the 7th level of the Supreme Power Realm. Seeing that it was almost time, Qin Haodong left the Daddy Security Company and walked towards the parking lot. Just as he opened the door, a figure rushed towards him from behind. Qin Haodong's body instantly tightened, but he soon relaxed. The figure came behind him, reached out to cover his eyes, and deliberately said in a rough voice, Little handsome, guess who I am? Qin Haodong suddenly turned around, held the person in his arms, and kissed her fiercely. After a long time, the two slowly separated. Qin Haodong said, You little fox, where have you been recently? Why can't you get through to me? Hu Shaoxian giggled and said, I can't help it. The Xianyuan Pavilion sent me out to perform a task. I just came back a few days ago. After reporting in the capital, I came to find you. She stretched out her hands and put them around Qin Haodong's neck. Did you miss me while I was away? Of course I did. Then what should you do? Hu Shaoxian said affectionately, and her two big eyes seemed to be dripping water. Get in the car. Qin Haodong carried Hu Shaoxian into the car, and then drove to the Sea View Villa again. Although a room was destroyed during the day, there were many rooms in this villa, so he just needed to change another one. As the saying goes, absence makes the heart grow fonder. After entering the house, the two of them were like dry firewood that had been ignited. The fire was burning, and they soon went into battle. After a long time, the storm stopped. The two of them hugged each other tightly and lay lazily on the bed. Hu Shaoxian reached out and drew circles on his chest. She said coquettishly, "You said that you missed me, but you hooked up with women when I was away." Qin Haodong said with a guilty conscience, "I didn't. You still have the nerve to say that? Yan Feifei, the great witch of the Yan family, has been hooked up with you." Qin Haodong was shocked and said, "How did you know? It's really you." Hu Shaoxian was just guessing at first. Seeing his reaction, she knew that she was right. Qin Haodong said nervously, "Tell me, how did you know? How many other people know about this? Does Yan Feifei know about it?" Hu Shaoxian said, "Just some time ago, Yan Feifei publicly announced that she had a man, and the Yan family officially announced that they had broken off their previous engagement with Qin Zongheng. But no one knew who the man was, and the Yan family did not make any explanation. But later, Yan Feifei often took a pill and asked people everywhere, trying to find out where the pill came from. I saw the pill by chance. Others might not know it, but I knew it very well. It was the spirit-strengthening pill. No one in the world can refine the spirit-strengthening pill except you, so I guess you are that man." Qin Haodong asked, "You didn't tell anyone, did you?" Hu Shaoxian said, "Of course not." Qin Haodong let out a long breath. Although Yan Feifei had broken off the engagement with his father, it was not easy to say. "Tell me, how did you hook up with Yan Feifei? How did you make her fall in love with you?" Hu Shaoxian's face was full of excitement. Qin Haodong glanced at her and said, "Shouldn't you be jealous? When I meet a man like you, I will die of jealousy." Hu Shaoxian smiled and said, "Tell me, how did you hook up with Yan Feifei?" Qin Haodong had no choice but to tell her the story of his encounter with Yan Feifei. Finally, he said, "In that situation, I really had no other way. Otherwise, both of us would have died." After hearing that, Hu Shaoxian sighed and said, "It's God's will. Yan Feifei is a poor person. Your father ran away from her before she got married. Now you are sent to her, which is a kind of compensation from God." Qin Haodong shook his head with a wry smile. It was indeed God's will. Hu Shaoxian said, "In fact, you don't have to worry about it. Yan Feifei and your father just had an engagement, and it was forced by their parents. Now the engagement has been broken. She is completely free and has the right to pursue her own love. Although she is a little old, Yan Feifei has maintained herself well over the years. You can't tell that she is a woman in her 30s at all. You don't suffer a loss." During this period of time, due to special reasons, Yan Feifei had been bringing great pressure to him. Now hearing Hu Shaoxian's words, he felt much better. Hu Shaoxian smiled strangely and said, "Yan Feifei has a new man. This matter has a great impact in the capital, but it's not the most influential one. It can only be ranked second." Qin Haodong asked with interest, "What's the first one?" Yan Feifei was the eldest princess of the Yan family and a 9th-level supreme power master. Coupled with the past with Qin Zongheng, her influence in the capital was absolutely top. Even so, it could only be ranked second. The first one was definitely a big deal. Hu Shaoxian said coquettishly, "Do you want to know? If you want to know, you have to behave well, or I won't tell you." Qin Haodong said, "It's fine if you don't want to say it. It has nothing to do with me anyway." Hu Shaoxian's sly face came in front of him. "Are you sure you don't want to know? How do you know it has nothing to do with you? If you don't know, I promise you will regret it for the rest of your life. You little devil, see how I'll deal with you. Qin Haodong turned over and pressed her under his body. The two of them started fighting again. This time, Qin Haodong directly used the double cultivation method. 2 hours later, Wu Xiaoxian's cultivation was also raised to the 9th level supreme power realm. After the two separated, Wu Xiaoxian felt the majestic genuine qi in her body. She said in shock, "You are really a piece of flesh. You have reached the 9th level supreme power realm so quickly. It seems that I only need to enjoy staying with you. I don't need to work hard to cultivate at all." Qin Haodong said with a smirk, "You've finished enjoying yourself. Now it's time to tell you what it is. You've done a good job, so I'll tell you." Hu Xiaoxian whispered in his ear, "Qi Wan is going to get married." Although her voice was not loud, it sounded like thunder in Qin Haodong's ears. He jumped up and shouted, "Xiaoxian, what did you say? You can't joke about this kind of thing." Qi Wan was his woman, and she loved him very much. It could be said that she would not change until death. This time she went back to the capital to visit her relatives. How could she get married so soon? Hu Xiaoxian said, "Of course it's not a joke. Now the whole capital knows that her engagement ceremony will be held in 3 days." Qin Haodong saw that she was serious and did not seem to be joking. He quickly took out his mobile phone and dialed Qi Wan's number. There was a tone and the phone could not be connected. Hu Xiaoxian said, "There's no need to call. I heard that Qi Wan has been placed under house arrest by her family. She can't take a step out of the house, nor can she contact the outside world." Qin Haodong said with a gloomy expression, "Tell me, what the hell is going on?" Chapter 665. I knew that you were worried about Sister Wan, so I specially inquired about her for you. I have already found out the situation. Hu Xiaoxian began to tell. It turned out that Qi Wan did go back to visit her relatives this time. She wanted to see her family, especially her mother. It was the first time for her to go home after she recovered from her illness. When the Qi family saw that the originally ugly little girl had grown up to be a beauty, it immediately caused a great sensation. Qi Wan's mother, Shi Zhishuan, was even more ecstatic. However, she was worried about her daughter's future, so she asked the first master in the capital, Yuan Tianren, to tell Qi Wan's fortune. After Taoist Yuan saw it, he said that Qi Wan was bound to have good fortune after surviving the disaster. Now she had become a rare appearance that could bring prosperity to her husband. She was so precious that whoever could marry her would definitely be rich and have a meteoric rise in their career. Yuan Tianren was the most famous feng shui master in the imperial capital. Rumor had it that he could foresee the future for 500 years. Everyone believed in his words without a doubt, especially the aristocratic families. His words were regarded as the golden rule. After the news spread, the Qi family was immediately crowded. The matchmakers from the big families came to propose marriage. They all wanted to marry this rare appearance that could bring fortune to their husbands. The Qi family was very happy about this result. After some screening, the family master, Qi Guofan, finally decided to marry Zhao Hongkuan and Qi Wan to the Zhao family. Qi Wan did not expect that a simple fortune-telling would be made like this by Yuan Tianren. She repeatedly told her grandfather that she already had a boyfriend. However, for the children of big families like them, marriage could not be decided by themselves. Instead, they were reprimanded by her father, Qi Yulong. Qi Yulong was very satisfied with this marriage. First of all, the relationship between the Qi family and the Zhao family had always been good. If the two families were united by marriage, it would be of great benefit to the development of the family in the future. In addition, he was also very satisfied with Zhao Hongkuan. Among the younger generation in the capital, Zhao Hongkuan was definitely a leading figure. The young man was very handsome and steady. He would be one of the important candidates for the master of the Zhao family in the future. Because of this, he didn't even bother to ask who his daughter's boyfriend was and directly denied it. There was no other way. Qi Wan decided to escape from the marriage. But before she could escape from the Qi family's courtyard, she was caught by Qi Yulong and her cultivation was sealed. She was ordered to reflect at home and was not allowed to leave before the engagement. After listening to Hu Shaoxian, Qin Haodong's face was gloomy. He said coldly, "Is Yuan Tianren the Taoist Yuan of the Chu family?" Hu Shaoxian said, "It's him. The master of the Chu family also respects him very much. That damned ox knows. He's really haunting me." At the mention of Yuan Tianren, Qin Haodong was full of killing intent. Back then, it was this old Taoist who talked nonsense in the Chu family. After breaking up the marriage between Qin Zongheng and Chu Xianyue, he said that the ancestral grave of the Chu family was a place where fairies were naked and asked the Chu family to kill him. If it weren't for this damned old Taoist, he wouldn't have been separated from his mother. Before he could take revenge on him, Yuan Tianren had brought such a big trouble to Qi Wan, her. At this moment, he had already listed Yuan Tianren on the list of people he must kill. In addition, the Qi family actually forced Qi Wan, to marry Zhao Hongquan, which made him even more furious. He hated this kind of arranged marriage in a big family. It was precisely because of this bad habit driven by interests that led to the destruction of his family. He became an orphan since he was a child and had not found where his father was until now. "I'll take people to the Qi family now and take Wan back. I'll kill anyone who stands in my way," Qin Haodong said with a murderous look. After that, he was about to get up and leave. Hu Shaoxian quickly stopped him and said, "Haodong, calm down. It's not appropriate to do this." Qin Haodong said angrily, "Don't worry. With my current strength, I don't care about the Qi family." He was indeed full of confidence now. Lin Momo, Nalan Wushuang, Nalan Wuxia, Feng Wu, and Hu Shaoxian in front of him were all at the 9th level of the Supreme Power Realm. Their cultivation was far higher than the 9th level of the Supreme Power Realm of the 7 great families. This did not include the Zihang Sword House, which was under his command. In addition, he also controlled the Daddy Security Company. There were hundreds of Supreme Power Masters, which was extremely powerful no matter where they were. Hu Shaoxian said, "I'm not worried about your strength, but it's not appropriate to do this." "What's not appropriate?" "I can't watch them force Wan, to marry someone else." Hu Shaoxian said, "Have you ever thought that if force could solve everything, why did Qin Zongheng wander outside for so many years? With his cultivation, I'm afraid he has already entered the ranks of the Saint Realm. As long as he is willing, neither the Qin family nor the Chu family can fight against him." Qin Haodong slowly calmed down and asked, "Why?" Hu Shaoxian said, "Love without the blessing of family is not happy." This sentence applies not only to ordinary people, but also to the children of big families. Because of this, your father was forced to be engaged to Yan Feifei. Because of this, Aunt Chu did not elope with Qin Zongheng. In their dreams, they always want to get the blessing of their family. If you really take Wan away, then she will completely lose the Qi family. Although she can live with you for a lifetime without regrets, this is not what she wants. Qin Haodong said with annoyance, "Then what do you think I should do? I can't just watch her marry that brat surnamed Zhao. Don't worry, I've already thought of a way for you." A sly smile appeared on the corner of Hu Xiaoxian's mouth. Qin Haodong said eagerly, "Then tell me, what should I do? If you want to do it with a bang. If you want to steal the bride, you should do it at the engagement scene. That's the only way to enjoy it." Are you sure this will work?" Qin Haodong did not expect Hu Shaoxian to come up with such an idea. It seemed that it was even more intense than his. "Listen to me, it's definitely right." Hu Shaoxian said confidently, in the aristocratic families, there is no so-called love, only eternal interests. The reason why the Qi family chose to marry the Zhao family was that on the one hand, the Zhao family was powerful and belonged to the top aristocratic families in the capital. On the other hand, Zhao Hongquan was indeed very outstanding. At a young age, he had already reached the 5th level of the supreme power realm. He was known as a martial arts genius after Qin Zongheng. He was deeply appreciated by the master of the Zhao family and was likely to be the heir of the Zhao family in the future. But no matter how outstanding he is, he can't be compared to my man. What you have to do now is to let everyone see that you are better and have more powerful strength than the Zhao family. As long as you show that you are strong enough and let them see enough benefits, you can get the approval of the Qi family and get to marry you. In contrast, stealing the bride on the spot is the best way to show your strength. In fact, Hu Shaoxian came up with this idea on the spur of the moment. After seeing Qin Haodong's cultivation, she came up with this idea of stealing the bride in a high-profile way. Qin Haodong had slowly calmed down from the shock of the initial news. He closed his eyes slightly and thought about Hu Shaoxian's words from beginning to end. He also considered his overall plan and the situation in the capital. This time he returned to the capital. The most important thing to do was to do 3 things. First, to stop Qi Wan's marriage and take her back. Second, to integrate the power of all the aristocratic families and prepare to fight against the alien demon. Third, to reunite the mother and son and build a happy family for his mother. It was impossible to do these 3 things in a low-key manner. Stealing the bride required strength, reuniting the mother and son needed to shock the Chu family, integrating the power of all the aristocratic families and making them follow his lead. More importantly, he needed to show his super strength. After comprehensive consideration, it was indeed a good way to kidnap the bride with violence. It could achieve his 3 purposes easily, directly and efficiently. At the same time, he could let his forces enter the capital in a high-profile manner and stand above the 7 aristocratic families. Thinking of this, he nodded and said, "That's a good idea. Let's get ready and do it." Now that he had made up his mind, he took Hu Shaoxian back to his home and gathered Lin Momo and others together to discuss the matter of entering the capital in a high-profile manner. Nalan Wushuang and Nalan Wuxia sat together hand in hand. Obviously, they had talked about it. The result seemed to be very harmonious, which made Qin Haodong secretly relieved. After introducing Hu Shaoxian to Feng Wu, he told them about Qi Wan's forced marriage and his plan to kidnap the bride. He was a little worried that the other women would object because of jealousy after he revealed his plan to kidnap the bride. Unexpectedly, there was a faint flash of excitement in the eyes of these people, as if they were very interested. He licked his lips and asked, "This is my plan. Do you have any opinions?" This idea was Hu Xiaoxian's, so she naturally would not object. Feng Wu did not speak but just nodded, but her attitude was very obvious. As long as Qin Haodong wanted to do it, she would do it. The order of the Sacred Lord was above everything. Lin Momo said, "Sister Wan is also our sister. We can't let her be wronged." Nalan Wushuang said, "I agree with Sister Momo." There was a flash of excitement on Nalan Wuxia's face and she said, "It's exciting to think about kidnapping the bride in public. When will I ask my family to marry me, and then you can do it again?" Qin Haodong was speechless. It was enough to kidnap the bride once. He didn't want it to happen again. Since everyone had no opinion on the matter of kidnapping the bride, he told them all about his plan to enter the capital. After a careful discussion, he decided that Lin Momo would stay in Shanghai for the time being. After all, there were still many things to be solved here. After all, he had to leave a trustworthy person to handle it. Originally, Qin Haodong planned to enter the capital 3 years later. Now the appearance of Chu Xianyue and the alien demon had greatly advanced the plan. Except for Lin Momo, everyone else followed Qin Haodong to the capital, including Daddy Security Company. The preparation time was 3 days. 3 days later, they would cause a big shock to all the big families in the capital. Chapter 666. The Qi family in the capital. Today was the engagement day of Qi Wan, the eldest daughter of the Qi family, and Zhao Hongkuan of the Zhao family. According to the customs of the capital, the engagement banquet should be held at the bride's house first, and then they would get married at the groom's house after a while. Qi Wan had been so angry these days. Originally, she just wanted to go home to see her mother and then meet Qin Haodong after a few days. But she did not expect that Master Yuan Tianren would suddenly appear and say that she was a rare blessing for her husband. Then she got married to Zhao Hongkuan out of thin air. She originally wanted to escape secretly, but her cultivation was sealed by Qi Yulong, who had been on guard. Now she was no different from an ordinary person. She was watched by the 2 bodyguards at the door, and there was no chance for her to escape. She wanted to contact Qin Haodong, but there was no reliable person around her. There was no phone number, and no message could be sent out. She was very upset, but the Qi family was full of joy. Zhao Hongkuan was the leader of the 3rd generation of the Zhao family and the most popular heir of the family. After the marriage between the Qi family and the Zhao family, the alliance between the 2 families would be unbreakable, which would be of great benefit to the development of the Qi family in the capital. The Zhao family was also very enthusiastic about this marriage. On the one hand, the relationship between the 2 families would be more stable after the marriage. On the other hand, Qi Wan was not only beautiful, but also a rare blessing for her husband, as Master Yuan had said. After marrying such a daughter-in-law, the Zhao family would definitely prosper, and it was even possible for them to become the leader of the 7 great families. Under the high attention of the 2 families, although it was only an engagement banquet today, it was very lively. Guests and friends were invited, and all the famous families in the capital received the wedding invitation. Qi Yulong stood in front of the gate of the Qi family in a neat suit, welcoming the guests with a happy face. The old master, Qi Guofan, was sitting in the lobby in a festive Tang suit. Although the other families were not happy about the marriage between the Qi family and the Zhao family, they had to show their respect. Therefore, the leaders of the other 5 families were all present. In addition, influenced by the recent news that Qin Zongheng had become a saint, Chu Xuanyue's status had risen. This time, she was specially invited, and her status was the same as that of the masters of the other aristocratic families. After receiving the wedding invitation, she didn't want to come because she didn't want to face Chu Shanhe, the head of the Chu family. Later, under the persuasion of Yi Qing, in order to establish a good network for her son when he returned to the capital in the future, she finally came. However, after arriving at the Qi family, she still avoided Chu Shanhe and sat on the other side. Chu Shanhe also saw his daughter and sighed with a complicated expression. In the end, he didn't speak. In the dressing room, Shi Zhishuan said to Qi Weiner, "Girl, hurry up and do your makeup. It's almost time." Today, Qi Weiner wore a colorful cheongsam, but her expression was very cold. She just sat quietly in the chair without saying a word. "Mom, I've already told you and Dad that I already have a boyfriend. Why should I get engaged? Is it because of that old Taoist's nonsense?" Shi Zhishuan sighed and said, "Girl, if you want to blame someone, blame your mother. I shouldn't have taken you to have your fortune read. But now that things have come to this, we can only accept our fate. The marriage of a girl from a big family is never decided by herself." Qi Weiner said angrily, "I don't believe in fate. If I did, I would have died a long time ago. My life was saved by Haodong. If I want to marry, I will only marry him. I won't marry anyone else." Shi Zhishuan said, "Daughter, I know you are suffering, but this matter was decided by your grandfather. We can't change it. And I think Zhao Hongkuan is a good boy. You won't feel wronged marrying him. No, the family is the family and I am me. I decide my own marriage. Since the whole Qi family is forcing me, then don't blame me for being ruthless. A trace of determination flashed across Qi Weiner's face. She said to the makeup artist next to her, "Come on, do my makeup." Shi Zhishuan said worriedly, "Child, don't do anything stupid." Qi Weiner said, "Mom, I will decide this matter myself. You don't have to worry about it." At this moment, the banquet hall of the Qi family was full of guests. As the leading actor today, Zhao Hongkuan was wearing a black suit. His tall and straight figure showed strong confidence. As the core figure of the third generation of the Zhao family, he could be said to be the chosen one. Moreover, he had performed extremely well since he was a child. He had reached the 5th level of the Supreme Power Realm before he was 30 years old. This kind of achievement was enough for him to look down on his peers from other aristocratic families. He was the leading figure of the younger generation in the capital. In the Zhao family, Zhao Hongkuan was also highly valued by the family master, Old Master Zhao. He had obtained a certain degree of decision-making power in family affairs. He had the right to make decisions unless it was related to the life and death of the family. As an outstanding man, the matchmakers who had come to the Zhao family to propose marriage over the years had almost broken the threshold. There were also countless ladies who had thrown olive branches to him. However, Zhao Hongkuan refused all of them. At most, he was just playing around. He thought that those women were not worthy of him until Qi Weiner appeared. In his opinion, with his ability and talent, he was simply a match made in heaven with Qi Weiner, who had a rare life of bringing good fortune to her husband. He had already surpassed the younger generation in the capital. If he got Qi Weiner's help, his future achievements would be limitless. Originally, he had proposed to the Qi family because of Yuan Tianren's words, but when he saw Qi Weiner's peerless appearance, he was immediately shocked. After the two families set the marriage contract, he could wake up with a smile even in his dreams. If a man wanted to succeed, the woman behind him was absolutely extremely important. Because of this, the words, "bringing good fortune to her husband," were full of endless temptation for everyone. There were countless people who came to the Qi family to propose marriage, but only Zhao Hongkuan had the last laugh. Just as he was getting more and more proud, an old Taoist came in from outside. It was Yuan Tianren, the most famous Xianshu master in the capital. Yuan Tianren was about 60 or 70 years old. He had long hair and a white beard. He was wearing a cyan Taoist robe and holding a horsetail whisk in his hand. He looked like an immortal. Yuan Tianren was extremely popular in the capital. Wherever he went, he would be surrounded by people and countless people stood up to say hello to him. After seeing him, Zhao Hongkuan immediately went up to him and said, "Master Yuan, you're here. I want to thank you for your guidance." Yuan Tianren reached out to fix his beard and said in a dignified manner, "I don't dare to be greedy. It's also your luck to be able to bring good fortune to your husband, which is rare in 1,000 years. Zhao Hongkuan said respectfully, "In the end, I still have to thank you for your guidance. I will never forget your great kindness. When you have time, I will thank you alone. Please do me the honor. You are worth teaching. Your future is boundless." Yuan Tianren nodded his head in satisfaction and walked inside after saying those words. Zhao Hongkuan turned around and saw Qi Weiner, who had finished putting on makeup, walking into the hall leisurely. She was wearing a bright red cheongsam, which vividly showed off her beautiful figure. Her long hair was tied up high, revealing her white neck and shoulders. She was like a peacock spreading its tail, and the dazzling light illuminated the whole hall. Ever since he saw Qi Weiner once, Zhao Hongkuan was amazed every time he saw her. He smiled slightly, cheered up and walked toward his future wife. "Weiner, you are so beautiful today." Zhao Hongkuan walked to Qi Weiner and reached out to hold her hand. After today's engagement, they would become husband and wife. In the eyes of such an aristocratic family, the engagement ceremony was much more effective than the marriage certificate. As long as today's ceremony was completed, Qi Weiner would be Zhao Hongquan's wife. But Qi Weiner obviously didn't think so. She took a step back slightly and Zhao Hongquan failed to grab her hand. She said coldly, "Don't touch me." Zhao Hongquan smiled and said, "Weiner, we are going to be a family soon. Why are you so shy?" Qi Wan said, "Zhao Hongquan, let me tell you, I'm not willing to attend this engagement ceremony today. I have someone I like. Even if you can get my body, you can't get my heart." After a pause, she said to Zhao Hongquan, who was stunned, "Besides, you may not be able to get my body." Zhao Hongquan didn't care about Qi Weiner's refusal. He smiled and said, "Weiner, I know you have feelings for me now, and I understand it very well. But I believe that as long as we become husband and wife, I will definitely show you my excellence and make you fall in love with me." Qi Weiner shook her head and said mercilessly, "It's useless. No matter how hard you try, you can't compare with him." Zhao Hongquan said proudly, "Weiner, although I don't know who that guy is, he only met you a few days earlier than me. In terms of excellence and talent, I don't think he can compare with me in any case." Qi Weiner smiled coldly and said, "You think too much. He is 10,000 times better than you in every aspect." Zhao Hongquan smiled indifferently. He didn't take Qi Weiner's words seriously at all. In his heart, he was the direct descendant of the Zhao family in the capital. How could there be a young man who was better than him? "Weiner, today is our big day. I don't want to argue with you. Please believe me, I will definitely move your heart in the future." "That's impossible. I only have him in my heart." Qi Weiner turned around and seemed to want to leave. Suddenly, she thought of something and turned around and said, "By the way, I forgot to tell you one thing. I'm already his woman now." Zhao Hongquan didn't care about what she had said before, but this sentence suddenly hit his sore spot. For an extremely proud man, it was undoubtedly a great insult for his fiancée to suddenly say that she had slept with another man. He clenched his fists and the blue veins on his forehead bulged. Qi Weiner saw his expression and a smile appeared at the corner of her mouth. He wanted to take her as his wife, so she would make him unhappy. Chapter 667. He was on the verge of exploding, but this state only lasted for a few seconds. Zhao Hongquan's fists slowly loosened and his cold expression eased. He said with a smile, I'm sincere to you. Why do you have to do this? Don't make such a joke with me again, okay? Are you joking? Qi Wan smiled and said, Zhao Hongquan, we're not that close yet. I won't joke with you. Zhao Hongquan said, no matter what you did in the past, I don't care. I only care about you. Qi Wan smiled sarcastically and said, what you care about is the so-called bringing good fortune to your husband, right? As long as I can help you achieve success, everything else is not important. You can even accept being cheated on, right? Zhao Hongquan frowned and said, Wan, you've gone too far. I know you can't accept me now, but I promise you will look at me differently in the future. You think too much. We don't have a future at all. After that, Qi Wan walked straight to the relatives next to her. Looking at her graceful back, a cold light flashed in Zhao Hongquan's eyes. Although the conversation just now was very unpleasant and he could see that Qi Wan was very repulsed by him, he could not give up. Soon, the engagement banquet officially began. In the banquet hall, a beautiful MC walked to the front stage. She was a famous host of a Wuxia TV station. Today, she was invited to preside over the wedding of Qi Wan and Zhao Hongquan, which showed how much importance the Qi family attached to this engagement. The MC said with a smile, ladies and gentlemen, although today is not a formal wedding ceremony, it is also a very grand engagement banquet. Miss Qi Wan and Mr. Zhao Hongkuan will complete the lifelong contract under the witness of all the guests. Let's welcome this happy moment with warm applause. There was a thunderous applause below the stage, and even the masters of the 7 great families clapped unhurriedly. Qi Yulong stood next to them. He was very satisfied with all this. Among the second generation of the Qi family, he was the most outstanding one. Now that his daughter had completed the marriage with the Zhao family, he would definitely be the master of the family in the future. Qi Wan and Zhao Hongkuan went to the stage. Zhao Hongkuan was smiling, but Qi Wan looked old-fashioned and there was no joy on her face. The MC walked up to them and didn't realize that there was anything different about today's ceremony. He raised the microphone in his hand and said, "The 2 newlyweds are about to get engaged. Before that, I have a few questions to ask the bridegroom and bridegroom." He said to Zhao Hongkuan, "Let me ask the handsome Mr. Zhao, are you willing to marry Miss Wan?" "I'm willing." Zhao Hongkuan's voice was loud and powerful. "In the past, I didn't believe in love at first sight in this world, but the moment I saw Wan, I believed it. She's the woman I've been looking for my whole life." After he finished speaking, there was a thunderous applause backstage. However, some people secretly curled their lips. They knew very well that love at first sight was bullshit. It was all about bringing good luck to her husband. Zhao Cangqiong, the master of the Zhao family, was sitting next to Qi Guofan, Qi Weiner's grandfather. Seeing his grandson's performance, he could not help but say proudly, "Old Qi, what do you think? This grandson of mine is not bad, right?" Not bad at all. Otherwise, how could he be worthy of my granddaughter?" Qi Guofan laughed happily. He was extremely satisfied with this marriage. At this moment, the MC moved the microphone in front of Qi Weiner and said, "Beautiful Miss Wan, would you like to marry Mr. Zhao?" Qi Weiner did not answer directly. She glanced around and saw everyone's expectations and expressions. Then she said firmly, "I, Qi Weiner, don't want to marry him." Her words were like a thunderbolt that exploded in the entire banquet hall. Many people even suspected that there was something wrong with their ears. How could the bridegroom say that she didn't want to marry him at such a festive time? At this time, Qi Weiner smiled slightly, as if she was very satisfied with everyone's shocked expressions. She repeated and said, "You heard me right. I just said that I don't want to marry him." This time, there was an uproar and the crowd immediately became restless. Many people who failed to pursue Qi Weiner were secretly delighted. If I can't get her, Zhao Hongkuan can't get her either. Now there was a good show to watch. Zhao Hongkuan's face was pale, as if he had been struck by lightning. Although Qi Weiner had expressed her dissatisfaction just now, he thought that she was just playing a little temper with him. Children of big families like them all put the interests of their families first. He never expected that Qi Weiner would do what she said and completely disregard the face of the Qi family and the Zhao family. Didn't she know what kind of situation the 2 families would be in if she did so at this moment? Didn't she think about the serious consequences of doing so? If this marriage didn't work out, the Qi family and the Zhao family would become the laughing stock of the whole capital in the future. The beautiful lady held the microphone in her hand and was completely stunned at this moment. The words that she had prepared before could not be used at all. She had thought that this was a good job. She could simply organize the engagement ceremony and then get a big red packet from such a big family. But the reality was not as good as she had imagined. Although she had hosted many wedding ceremonies, it was the first time that she had encountered such a situation. For a moment, she was at a loss. Shi Zhishuan, who was under the stage, was stunned. Only then did she realize what her daughter's words meant. She had never expected that her daughter would take such an extreme approach and almost break up with the whole Qi family. Qi Yulong, who was standing next to her, was so angry with Qi Weiner that he didn't expect his daughter to be so ignorant. He hurried to the stage and said, "Weiner, have you recovered from your fever last night? If you are not feeling well, go to rest. Don't let it affect your mood." Then he took the microphone from the MC's hand and said to the audience, "I'm sorry, everyone. Weiner had a fever last night, and now she is not very conscious. Please forgive me." Qi Weiner grabbed the microphone from his hand and said, "I'm not sick, and I'm very sober. That's what I want to say. I don't want to. I just don't want to." Qi Yulong was completely dumbfounded. Although he knew that Qi Weiner was forced to attend this engagement party, this was very common among the aristocratic families. Before he put Qi Weiner under house arrest, he thought that as long as the rice was cooked, everything would be fine. After all the children of aristocratic families put family interests first, and personal love was nothing at all. If this marriage was successful, his status in the Qi family would rise, and he was likely to become the next family master. But he never expected that Qi Weiner was much more unyielding than he had imagined. She even said the word "don't want to" in public, which directly beat him from heaven to hell. Feeling the sarcastic and mocking eyes under the stage, Qi Yulong shouted angrily, "Qi Weiner, are you confused? Do you know what you are talking about?" "I'm not confused. I know what I am talking about, and I know what I want." Qi Weiner didn't intend to change her mind at all. She said with a firm look, "I don't want this marriage at all. It's completely forced. Now my acupoints are sealed. Do you think I am willing?" After she finished speaking, the banquet hall, which had just quieted down a little, was in an uproar again. No one had expected that the Qi family would seal their daughter's acupoints for this marriage. Originally, many people thought that this marriage was a good marriage in the circle of aristocratic families. One party had a rare blessing for the husband, and the other party was the leader of the younger generation in the capital. They didn't expect that the other party was not willing at all and was completely forced to do so. At this moment, the smile on the face of Zhao Cangqiong, the master of the Zhao family, had long disappeared. He looked at Qi Weiner, who was determined on the stage, and then looked at Zhao Hongquan, who was completely at a loss. Finally, he sighed softly. He had thought that this was a happy event for the Zhao family. His grandson and Qi Weiner were a match made in heaven. If he married a rare blessing for the husband, the Zhao family would be promoted to a higher level. But now it seemed that things were not as he had imagined. After all, Zhao Hongquan was an outstanding figure of the younger generation. He slowly recovered from the shock and said to the guests below the stage, "Everyone, I'm sorry. I just quarreled with Weiner below the stage. What she said just now was just a petulant remark. Don't take it seriously." After that, he turned around and took Qi Weiner's hand. "Weiner, if you have anything to say, go home and tell me. Don't lose your temper here." Originally, he still had the last glimmer of hope that Qi Weiner could save some face for the two families. But to his disappointment, Qi Weiner slapped his hand away and said, "Zhao Hongquan, are you still fantasizing? It's impossible for us to have a family." "Well, fantasizing?" Only then did Zhao Hongquan realize that everything before seemed to be really an illusion. Although the woman in front of him was good, she did not belong to him at all. Seeing that his grandson was rejected again and again, Zhao Cangqiong became more and more angry. If this went on, not only would the Qi family lose face, but the Zhao family would also lose face. This girl from the Qi family had gone too far. Had she not considered the face of the two great families? Had she not considered the consequences of such a scene? Thinking of this, he turned to look at Qi Guofan and said, "Old Qi, your granddaughter is too uneducated. She doesn't take our Zhao family seriously at all. Shouldn't the Qi family give us an explanation?" At this moment, the masters of the other great families were calm and looked at the development of the situation indifferently. Some even had a faint smile on their faces. After all, the onlookers were not afraid of making things worse. The bigger the matter was, the better it would be for them. Nonsense. Chi Guofan could not sit still and his face was livid. Originally, he thought that Chi Yulong could calm the situation down, but he did not expect that it would become more and more serious. The engagement party was ruined, which was a slap in the face to the Chi family. He slapped the table, stood up, pointed at Chi Weiner and shouted, "You must give me an explanation today." Chapter 668. You want an explanation, right? Then I'll give you one now. At this moment, Chi Weiner was fearless. She said to all the guests under the stage, "I believe many people remember what I looked like a few months ago. At that time, I was like a ghost. I believe that no one would take the initiative to propose marriage to me, let alone say that I'm a rare blessing for my husband. Now my illness has been cured by my man. I look beautiful and I'm *king blessing for my husband. My family wants to use me for a marriage alliance and my marriage in exchange for benefits for the family. What I want to say is, what does the interests of the family have to do with a woman? Does it mean that the prosperity of the family is exchanged for the happiness of a woman?" After these words, the whole audience was shocked. In order to defend her happiness, Chi Weiner said all the words in her heart and no longer cared about the face of her family. "Bastard, bastard," Chi Guofan was trembling with anger. At this time, the old Taoist Yuan Tianren stood up and waved the horsetail whisk in his hand, looking like a master. "Miss Weiner, let me tell you, everything is predestined. Your destiny is that if you survive a disaster, you will have good fortune later on. Why do you insist on other illusions? I think that you are a rare blessing for your husband. I can't be wrong about this. You should accept your fate." Chi Weiner turned her head and her eyes were full of disgust for the so-called Master Yuan. If he hadn't given her a destiny that would bring good fortune for her husband, she would not have encountered such a big trouble. The current situation was all caused by this old Taoist. She said coldly, "Even if you are right and I am a blessing for my husband, haven't you shown me that other people can afford it?" After hearing her words, Zhao Tsangqiong was suddenly unhappy. "My grandson is the direct descendant of the Zhao family. He is the best among the young people in the capital. Is he not worthy of you? Is the man you are talking about stronger than my grandson?" Chi Weiner glanced at him and did not flinch at all because he was the master of the Zhao family. "You are right. My man is stronger than your grandson, and he is 10,000 times stronger." The whole banquet hall was in an uproar. Compared with the broken engagement just now, these words were more like a slap in the face. Zhao Hongquan said angrily, "Since you said so much about him, why doesn't he dare to show up today? If he's so much stronger than me, why didn't he come to snatch the wedding and take you away?" Chi Weiner said decisively, "If he receives the news, he will definitely come." Seeing that his granddaughter was getting more and more outrageous and had no intention of redeeming her, Chi Guofan said angrily, "Today, you have to get married, even if you don't want to. As long as you are alive, you will be the granddaughter-in-law of the Zhao family. What if I refuse to marry?" Thinking of the man in her heart, Chi Weiner seemed to be filled with endless courage. In order to pursue her own happiness, in order to be with the person she loved, even in the face of everyone's pressure, she still did not compromise or give in. She still did not care that her words were already threatening Chi Guofan. After being contradicted by his granddaughter in public one after another, Chi Guofan was on the verge of breaking out. He said angrily with a livid face, "Chi Wan, as long as you are a member of our Chi family, you have to listen to the arrangement of our Chi family. Today, you have to marry, even if you don't want to. Otherwise, get out of the Chi family. From now on, our Chi family doesn't have a granddaughter like you." If she refused to marry, she would get out of the Chi family. Chi Weiner was silent and bit her lip. Although she was stubborn, her eyes were still full of tears. She was not reconciled. When she had coronary heart disease before, except for her parents, no one else in the family cared about her. They even hid from her like a plague. Even the grandfather in front of her cared less about her, as if she did not exist. Now she had been cured by Qin Haodong. She was beautiful and had many pursuers. She had been given the title of bringing good fortune to her husband by the family. Why did they do all this? How could she be reconciled to it? The entire banquet hall fell into silence. Everyone could feel the oppressive atmosphere. At this moment, a faint voice rang out. Why bother? A melon that is forcibly picked is not sweet. Everyone looked in the direction of the voice. It was Chu Xianyue, the head of Haodong Group. If Yi Qing had come with Chu Xianyue, she would have immediately recognized Qi Weiner as one of Qin Haodong's girlfriends. Unfortunately, she did not come, and the two of them did not know each other. The reason why Chu Xianyue sighed was because of her own situation. Today's Qi Weiner was very similar to her 20 years ago. The only difference was that neither she nor Qin Zongheng had the courage of Qi Weiner. Although they were unwilling, they did not stand up to fight against the family publicly. They did not fight for their own happiness, so that tragedies happened one after another. She looked at the strange eyes around her, and then glanced at Chu Shanhe and Qin Zhan Ao sitting next to her. Why are you all looking at me like this? I'm just telling the truth. There was no shortage of truth in this world, but some truths could not be said. After saying it, it would cause endless trouble, but Chu Xianyue just said it. Both Chu Shanhe and Qin Zhan Ao knew that she was referring to something, but they pretended not to hear it, and their expressions did not change at all. They could pretend to be deaf and dumb, but the people of the Qi family could not. However, recently it was rumored that Qin Zongheng had become a saint, and with that, Chu Xuanyue's identity and status had risen. Qi Yulong was standing next to her. Although he was dissatisfied, he did not dare to express it too directly. President Chu, you don't know. Before he finished speaking, Chu Xianyue waved her hand and interrupted him. I really don't know much about this matter, and I don't want to know. I only know that if a woman is forced to marry a man she doesn't like, it will definitely be a lifetime of bad luck. I just feel that Weiner is very pitiful, so I said it out loud. Speaking of this, there was an unconcealable bitterness on her face. Only she knew how much she had suffered for so many years. Qi Weiner was very surprised. She did not expect that there would be someone who would speak up for her. Although she had lived in the capital for so many years, she had been busy with treatment and seldom went out. She did not know Chu Xianyue, nor did she know that she was the mother of her lover and her future mother-in-law. The Zhao family was the most dissatisfied with Chu Xuanyue's words. Zhao Zhangqiong's face was so gloomy. Why is she pitiful? Why is it a pity? Is my grandson not worthy of the woman of the Qi family? President Chu, in terms of seniority, you are my junior. I won't argue with you on normal days, but today is my grandson's engagement banquet. I have to argue with you. Because Chu Xianyue had left the Chu family, the heads of the major families had thought hard about how to address her. It was not appropriate to call her by her name, nor was it appropriate to call her Miss Chu, so they finally chose to call her President Chu. What can I do for you, Mr. Zhao? Chu Xianyue was still calm, as if she did not see the anger on Zhao Zhangqiong's face. Zhao Zhangqiong suppressed the anger in his heart and said with a sullen face, did you just say that the girl of the Qi family is pitiful? Of course, Chu Xianyue would not deny what she had just said. She said leisurely, yes, I said that. Zhao Zhangqiong said, then let me ask you, how is my grandson? Not bad. He is considered an outstanding talent among the third generation of the aristocratic families in the capital. In that case, why did you say that it would be a pity for the girl of the Qi family to marry my grandson? Is my grandson so bad? With Zhao Zhangqiong's question, everyone's eyes were focused on Chu Xuanyue's face. Old Master Zhao, I'm not saying that Zhao Hongkuan isn't good, said Qin Haodong. Chu Xianyue said, I'm speaking from a woman's point of view. For a woman, the most important thing in her life is love, but now even the most important thing has to be dominated by others. Isn't it pitiful? Love has nothing to do with whether a person is good or not. As the saying goes, everyone has their own love. No matter how good your grandson is, he is not someone she likes. Why do you have to force him? Her words were reasonable and many women present agreed with her. If it were not for the dignity of the Zhao family and the Qi family, someone would have applauded immediately. President Chu, it's not right for you to say that. This time it was Qi Guofan who spoke. Young people are always impulsive and easily get carried away by their emotions and make the wrong choice. As parents, we can help them avoid this. One or refuses Zhao Hongkuan now. Maybe after 10 or 20 years, she will find that Hongkuan is the best choice. Chu Xianyue said lightly, Old Master Qi, you also said that it's just a possibility. What if after 10 or 20 years, she still insists on her current idea? For example, I don't regret what I thought back then. I always think that my choice is right. After she finished speaking, everyone looked at Chu Shanhe in unison. However, Chu Shanhe was indeed an experienced old fox. He did not care at all and still slowly tasted the tea in front of him, as if nothing had happened. Today was the engagement banquet between the Zhao family and the Qi family. He would not get involved in this mess. Qi Guofan snorted and said, even if what you said makes sense, as a child of an aristocratic family, she has to make contributions to the family, including her marriage. What else did Chu Xianyue want to say? At this time, Qi Wan said, Aunt Chu, thank you for your help. Don't thank me. I didn't help you much. You still have to put your own happiness in your own hands, or you will regret it in the future. After saying that, Chu Xianyue stopped talking. She picked up the teacup in front of her and slowly tasted it. Zhao Cangqiong said, Wan, now it's time for you to make a statement. At this point, our Zhao family will not bear the name of forcing you. You have to give us a way out. A way out? The people around sneered. How could the Zhao family have a way out after being rejected in front of their faces? Chapter 669. Qi Weiner said, Old Master Zhao, I think Auntie Chu is right. I just want to pursue my own happiness. Zhao Hongkuan is really good, but he is not my type. Seeing that his granddaughter refused his arranged marriage again and again, Qi Guofan could no longer control his anger. He did not dare to lose his temper with Chu Xianyue, but he had no scruples about Qi Weiner. He slammed the table and shouted, If you dare to refuse this marriage today, you will not be a member of our Qi family in the future. After all, Qi Weiner was a girl. At this time, she could no longer hold back the tears in her eyes and they flowed down. Grandpa, why do you force me like this? I just don't want to marry Zhao Hongkuan. What's wrong with that? I told you long ago that I already have my own man. You insisted on breaking us up. Are you blaming me for this? There was an uproar. Qi Weiner's words stimulated many people's nerves. It turned out that the young lady of the Qi family already had a man. Pay attention, she just said a man, not a boyfriend. The meaning behind it was indescribable. Zhao Cangqiong's face became more and more ugly. He turned to look at Qi Guofan and almost shouted, Old Qi, you must give our Zhao family an explanation today. These aristocratic families valued their reputation more than their lives, but today, the Zhao family had been slapped in the face again and again. Qi Guofan was so angry that he slammed the table and said, I'm so angry. Qi Weiner, are you shameless? At this time, Zhao Hongkuan stood up and said, Old masters, calm down. Let me solve this matter myself. Qi Guofan and Zhao Cangqiong both widened their eyes. Obviously, they were full of anger, but they could do nothing about it. Even if they really drove Qi Weiner out of the Qi family, they would be completely humiliated today. They were afraid that they would not be able to raise their heads in front of other aristocratic families in the future. At this time, seeing that Zhao Hongquan took the initiative to bear this matter, the two of them did not say anything and acquiesced. Zhao Hongquan turned around and said to Qi Wan, my sincerity to you can be seen by the heavens. On the contrary, the person you mentioned hasn't even shown up yet. How cowardly is he? Is this kind of person really worth your sacrifice? After he finished speaking, everyone present immediately agreed. Yes, if Qi Weiner really had a man and that man was really better than Zhao Hongquan, why didn't he appear? Why didn't they come to kidnap the bride? Could it be that they were afraid of the power of the Zhao clan and the Qi clan? If that was the case, such a spineless man was not worth Qi Wan doing so much for him. Qi Wan didn't speak, but the handsome figure gradually emerged in her mind. Will he come? I really can't hold on anymore. I really want to find an arm to lean on. Qi Wan secretly said in her heart. Zhao Hongquan smiled proudly. If he could conquer Qi Wan at this moment with his intelligence and wisdom, not only would he minimize the impact of today's engagement party, but he would also leave a good impression on his grandfather as the master of the family. He continued, Wan, or rather, there's no such person. It's all a lie you made up to deceive everyone, just so you don't want to be engaged to me. After saying this, even he himself believed this conjecture. Qi Wan bit her lips, I didn't lie to you. Zhao Hongquan sneered and said, in that case, do you dare to say that person's name? Let everyone know who this person is. Of course I dare. Qi Wan said word by word under everyone's gaze, his name is Qin Haodong. After he said this, the others were still calm, but Chu Xianyue spat out the tea in her mouth. What was going on? Wan liked her son. Could she be her daughter-in-law? However, almost no one had heard of this name except for her. From other people's reactions, Zhao Hongquan could feel that this person was a nobody. He said proudly, Wan, as you can see, no one knows his name. How can such a person be compared to me? Qi Wan said, indeed, you can't compare with him. There's a huge difference between you two. Nonsense. Zhao Zhangqiong said angrily, even if you search the whole capital and the whole Wuxia, no one can be better than my grandson. Zhao Hongquan was ignored by Qi Wan, again and again. He finally lost his patience and shouted angrily, Qi Wan, you've been praising that man from the beginning to the end. If you have the ability, call him out. I'll break his legs today. Really? You have to have the ability to do that. As soon as Zhao Hongquan finished speaking, a cold voice came from a distance. The voice did not seem to be loud, but everyone could hear it clearly. It's him. This is Haodong's voice. Is he really here? Is he really going to steal the bride? Qi Wan was so excited that her whole body trembled. In addition to her, another excited woman was Chu Xianyue. She also recognized that it was her son's voice. But then she suddenly became nervous. This was not any other place. This was the Qi family, one of the 7 great families in the capital. Her son was far from being able to compete with them now. Although she was excited and worried, she still tried her best to restrain her emotions. She knew that Chu Shanhe was watching coldly from the side. If she gave herself away, it would attract another strong enemy for her son. Fortunately, no one paid attention to Chu Xianyue. Everyone looked at the source of the voice. Outside the hall, they saw a group of men in black rushing into the Qi family. There were more than 100 of them. These people were majestic and their movements were neat and uniform. They were wearing a set of black uniforms with the words, Nanny, written on their chests. Although their clothes were strange, these people had the murderous aura of experienced soldiers and the pressure of powerful warriors. They were unstoppable all the way. Originally, the Qi family had arranged a large number of guards for today's engagement ceremony. After all, as the leading aristocratic family in the capital, safety had always been the first priority. Today's guards were personally led by Qi Yulong's younger brother, Qi Yuhu. They were all elites of the Qi family. The lowest cultivation was a master at the level of covert power. However, he did not expect that his elite guards were not even worth mentioning in front of these black-clothed men. They did not have the ability to resist the attacks of the black-clothed men at all. They were completely unable to withstand a single blow from the black-clothed men. This shocked everyone, including the masters of the 7 great families who were sitting in the main seats. What kind of combat power was this? They had at least reached the level of a supreme power master. If there were only 1 or 2 supreme power masters, they would not take them seriously at all. But there were at least 100 people in front of them, and each of them had the cultivation of a supreme power master. How terrifying would it be when 100 supreme power masters gathered together? In the capital, apart from the 7 great families, who else had such a powerful force? To be exact, even one of the 7 great families could not come up with such a strong force. The most eye-catching people were the young people walking in front. They were led by 2 handsome young men. Although they were dressed in ordinary clothes, they were very handsome. Behind them were 4 beautiful women. They had white skin, long legs, angelic looks and devilish figures. It was not an exaggeration to use all kinds of words to praise women. If it weren't for the strange atmosphere now, people would really think that this was an international model show, or that the champion of Miss World was on tour. These people were naturally Qin Haodong and his group of men. After carefully planning this bride kidnapping operation, their aura was extremely strong. Ma Wenjue walked in the front. After a few days of special training, his cultivation had reached the 7th level of the supreme power realm. In his opinion, in this case, he could not let his boss fight, otherwise it would seem that he was not strong enough. Therefore, along the way, he killed anyone who stood in his way with a few punches and kicks. Qi Weiner stood on the stage and looked at the man who had been dreaming of day and night. She could not help but burst into tears and was so excited that she could not speak. After the initial shock, Zhao Hongquan was delighted. Since this man was here, he had a chance to perform. He wanted to show Qi Weiner who was the better man. He saw that the man in front of the line was only about 20 years old. Although he looked majestic, he was confident that no peer under the age of 30 would be stronger than him. After all, he had reached the 5th level of the supreme power realm. Boy, I'll show you whether I have the ability or not. After that, he stopped his feet and flew down from the stage like a beautiful eagle spreading its wings. Then, he kicked Ma Wenjue with a sharp whirlwind kick. Unconsciously, he made a mistake. He thought that the man who walked in front of the line and was highly skilled must be Qin Haodong, whom Qi Weiner had mentioned. Although he had just arrived at the scene, Ma Wenjue had already figured out the situation clearly. Seeing that the boy in front of him dared to compete with his boss for a woman, he naturally would not be polite at all. He suddenly raised his right leg and kicked out in a domineering manner. The attack of the 7th level of the supreme power realm was naturally extraordinary. This kick made a sharp whistling sound in the air, and the huge pressure made it hard for the people around to breathe. The same way and the same leg technique, but with different strength. When Ma Wenjue kicked out, everyone present changed their expressions. No one had expected that this young man in his 20s would have such a profound cultivation. No wonder Qi Weiner fell in love with him so much. Subconsciously, they also regarded Ma Wenjue as Qin Haodong, because they could not imagine that there could be a better young man than him. Zhao Zhangqiong's expression suddenly changed. He was also at the 7th level of the supreme power realm, so he could naturally see the power of Ma Wenjue's kick. He knew that his grandson was definitely no match for him, so he quickly jumped up and shouted, "Stop! Stop now!" But it was too late. Zhao Hongquan couldn't retreat even if he wanted to. Ma Wenjue, who was determined to vent his anger for his boss, would certainly not give him any face. He kicked him mercilessly. When the two legs met, the huge wave of air lifted all the surrounding tables. Then, with a crisp sound, Zhao Hongquan screamed. His right leg, which he had kicked out, had turned into a V shape and was forcibly kicked into two parts. Chapter 670. Zhao Hongquan was kicked into the air and flew backward, but Ma Wenjue did not want to let him go so easily. He moved like a shadow and came to Zhao Hongquan's side, kicking him again. Crack! There was another ear-piercing sound of bones cracking. Zhao Hongquan's left leg was completely broken and he flew out like a broken sack. He knocked over several tables with a plop and fell to the ground in a mess. Zhao Cangqiong flashed to Zhao Hongquan and picked him up from the ground. After checking his injuries, he glared at Ma Wenjue and shouted, "Qin Haodong, you're so ruthless at such a young age. How dare you do this to my grandson?" Ma Wenjue clapped his hands and said happily, "Old man, you're wrong. My surname is not Qin. Qin Haodong is my eldest brother and I'm brother Ma. Your grandson dared to steal my eldest brother's woman and just said that he would break my eldest brother's legs. It's already very kind of me not to kill him." After he said that, all the guests present changed their expressions, especially the leaders of the aristocratic families. Ma Wenjue's performance just now had already shocked them. He had reached the 7th level of the supreme power realm at such a young age. This kind of achievement was much higher than Zhao Hongquan's. Even among the young talents in the capital, he was definitely second to none. If he was a disciple of any aristocratic family, he would definitely be the core of the whole family. He would undoubtedly be the successor of the family master. But such an outstanding person was just Qin Haodong's younger brother. How outstanding was Qin Haodong? Could it be that he had also reached the 7th level of the supreme power realm or even higher? Zhao Cangqiong had no time to think so much at this time. His grandson had just been rejected in public, and now his two legs had been broken in front of everyone. This made him both heartbroken and ashamed. Today, the Zhao family had completely lost face. He was so angry that his eyes were bloodshot and his beard was twitching. He shouted at Ma Wenjue, "I don't care who you are. If you dare to hurt our Zhao family, you will die." After that, he raised his hand and called over a middle-aged man in his 50s next to him. This man was Zhao Canghai, the third elder of the Zhao family. His cultivation was second only to the two elders at the 9th level of the supreme power realm. He had already reached the 8th level of the supreme power realm. "Canghai, cripple this kid for me. Break all his limbs and break the tendons of his hands and feet." Zhao Cangqiong gnashed his teeth and said. If the Zhao family didn't get back at them today, they would become the laughingstock of the other aristocratic families and wouldn't be able to gain a foothold in the capital. "Patriarch, don't worry. I'll definitely make this brat beg for death." Zhao Canghai walked toward Ma Wenjue with a sinister expression. Ma Wenjue was about to rush over to fight, but Qin Haodong pulled him behind him. "This old guy is very powerful. You're not his match for the time being." Seeing that Qin Haodong stopped Ma Wenjue, everyone present was curious. Ma Wenjue's performance just now had already stunned the audience, but now he was pulled back. Could it be that this young man was even more powerful? Just when everyone was expecting Qin Haodong to take action in person, they saw him turn around and say to a beautiful woman behind him, "Wuxia, I'll leave this guy to you." Nalan Wuxia was now at the 9th level of the supreme power realm, but she had never fought with a master above the supreme power realm. Today was a good opportunity to gain experience. After that, Qin Haodong ignored them. He stepped onto the stage, reached out to hold Qi Wan's hand and said softly, "I'm sorry to have made you suffer." Qi Wan threw herself into his arms and choked with sobs, "I thought you wouldn't come. How is that possible? You're my woman. No one can take you away from me, not even the emperor." Speaking of this, Qin Haodong suddenly frowned. Suddenly, he frowned. Your acupoints have been sealed. Yes. Qi Wan nodded. It doesn't matter. I'll help you unseal it. After that, he sent a stream of green with genuine qi to her and instantly opened her sealed acupoints. Not far from Qi Guofan, a white-haired old man suddenly opened his eyes. He was Qi Guoyin, the first elder of the Qi family, a master at the 9th level of the Supreme Power Realm. In order to be safe, Qi Yulong asked him to seal Qi Wan's acupoints. The technique used by Qi Guoyin was extremely special. Even if the other party was a master of acupoint unsealing, it would take him a while to unseal it. However, the young man in front of him easily unsealed his sealed acupoints as if it was as easy as eating and drinking. How could he not be shocked? Qin Haodong didn't care so much. After unsealing her acupoints, he directly took Qi Wan back to his team. Qi Yulong was originally next to them. He originally wanted to stop them, but when he saw Zhao Hongquan rolling and wailing on the ground, he finally held back. His cultivation had just reached the 4th level of the Supreme Power Realm, which was lower than Zhao Hongquan's. It was useless for him to go over. On the other side, Nalan Wuxia and Zhao Canghai had already begun to fight. Zhao Canghai was trying his best to win back the face of the Zhao family. He didn't care about the beauty at all because she was a beauty. As soon as he attacked, he used his unique skill, Tiger Claw, and grabbed Nalan Wuxia's face fiercely. Many people present were familiar with Zhao Canghai. The third elder of the Zhao family was almost invincible under the 9th level. Seeing him attack Nalan Wuxia, many people couldn't help but feel sorry for the beauty in front of them. At the same time, they also hated Qin Haodong's shameless behavior. It was really shameless for a man to hide behind and let a woman come out to be cannon fodder. But just when many people felt sorry for Nalan Wuxia, they saw her make a move. She also stretched out her claw. Her claw looked light and gentle, far less powerful than Zhao Canghai's tiger claw. Her jade-white palm was wrapped in layers of black qi. The two palms met. The black qi outside Nalan Wuxia's palm looked illusory, but it was full of power. It turned all the force of Zhao Canghai's tiger claw invisible. Zhao Canghai was shocked. He had never seen this kind of cultivation method. He desperately ran his genuine qi to raise his cultivation to the extreme, but no matter how hard he tried, Nalan Wuxia seemed to feel nothing. The dense black gas was like an invisible hand, tightly wrapping around his tiger claws, as if he was stuck in a quagmire and unable to extricate himself. At the same time, Nalan Wuxia's left hand slapped out. It was also a palm surrounded by black qi. This palm was extremely fast and hit Zhao Canghai's chest in the blink of an eye. In the eyes of others, this palm did not have much strength, but the black gas broke through Zhao Canghai's protective genuine qi in an instant. Then they saw Zhao Canghai let out a muffled groan, and his whole body flew backward like a kite with a broken string. He spat out a mouthful of blood in midair. Heavenly Devil Hand. Nalan Wuxia had obtained the cultivation method inheritance from the devil seed. It was the famous unique skill of the previous generation's leader of the Devil Gate. Today, she had tried it on a small scale and it was indeed powerful. One move made Zhao Canghai vomit blood. A 9th level Supreme Power Master. The onlookers were all shocked. Only a 9th level Supreme Power Master could defeat Zhao Canghai in one move. In the entire capital and even in Huaxia, only Yan Feifei of the Yan family had reached the 9th level. They did not expect that a beautiful master would appear out of nowhere today. It seemed that the young man did not let this beauty come out to be cannon fodder, but he knew that Zhao Canghai was no match for her. Qin Haodong was also slightly stunned. He had thought that Nalan Wuxia would have to fight for a period of time. He did not expect that the cultivation method of the Heavenly Devil sect was so powerful. It seemed that Nalan Wuxia's cultivation was not inferior to that of other women. There were hundreds of Supreme Power Masters, and now there was a 9th-level Supreme Power Master. This kind of strength could almost rival the top aristocratic families in the capital, so the people present had to pay attention to it. Qi Guofan's face was gloomy. He looked at Qin Haodong and asked, "Boy, who are you? What are you doing in our house?" Qin Haodong said with a smile, just said that I'm her man. Of course, I'm here to kidnap the bride." There was an uproar in the auditorium and the guests began to talk about it. So he is Qin Haodong. No wonder Qi Wan, doesn't like Zhao Hongquan. It seems that he is much more outstanding than Zhao Hongquan. This handsome guy is so handsome and he has so many masters under his command. It would be great if he could like me. This guy hasn't made a move yet. I wonder what his cultivation is like. The cultivation of his subordinates is so high. I guess he must be a super master. Otherwise, how would he dare to kidnap the bride? It seems that the Qi family and the Zhao family are going to lose face this time. Hearing the discussion around him, Zhao Zhangxiong's face turned livid and he shouted, "Qin Haodong, don't think that you can fight against our Zhao family with a few masters on the internet. You are far inferior." In order to boost his grandson's momentum at today's engagement party, he brought all the elders of the Zhao family, including 2 9th-level Supreme Power Masters. He turned around and said to an old man in a cyan robe, "First elder, teach this guy a lesson. Kill him." Zhao Zhangxiong was really angry. If their daughter-in-law was taken away in public, how could the Zhao family have a foothold in the capital in the future? "Yes, master." The old man in the cyan robe did not say much. He just agreed softly and then stepped to the front stage. "Look, the first elder of the Zhao family is going to take action. There's going to be a good show." The first elder, Zhao Zhangxiong, is a 9th-level Supreme Power Master. His thunder palm is the best in the world. It seems that this young man is going to be in trouble. The Zhao family is really powerful. It's impossible to kidnap the bride from the Zhao family. The old man in the cyan robe was Zhao Zhangxiong, the first elder of the Zhao family. He stepped in front of Qin Haodong and said coldly, "Boy, hand her over and then kneel on the ground to apologize to the Zhao family. I'll let you die with a whole body." Qin Haodong did not want to talk to such a self-righteous old man. He turned around and said, "Feng Wu, I'll leave this old man to you. But he's old. Be gentle. Don't kill him." His purpose today was to kidnap the bride and establish his prestige, but he did not want to kill them. After all, it was not easy to cultivate a 9th-level Supreme Power Master. These people would be the power to fight against the alien demons in the future. Feng Wu agreed and walked to Zhao Zhangxiong. The onlookers could not calm down again. It was another beauty. Was this beauty also a 9th-level Supreme Power Master? Otherwise, how could she fight against Zhao Zhangxiong? You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.